Chapter 2277. Shi Bufan and the four experts were indeed fearful of Ling Xiao. After all, the scene of Yuan Chen Saint dying in Ling Xiao's hands was too shocking. Ling Xiao's combat strength was unfathomable and he was already a supreme expert in the third heaven realm. None of them had the confidence to fight against him. But now, the temptation of the time compass had completely surpassed their fear of Ling Xiao. For the sake of this supreme emperor weapon and the supreme inheritance of the flowing time great emperor, they still chose to attack Ling Xiao. Moreover, Ling Xiao definitely did not have the time to refine the time compass. This was the best opportunity for them to strike. Rumble. Facing the attacks of Shi Bufan and the four experts, Ling Xiao's eyes were blazing with sharpness. A powerful aura rose around him as he threw out a punch. The terrifying fist imprint was intertwined with chaotic qi, enveloping the heavens and the earth, including Shi Bufan and the four experts. It was incomparably ferocious, like an immemorial divine mountain, pressing down from the primordial times. Kacha! The sword light that filled the sky shattered, and the attacks of the four experts turned into dust at the same time. The five of them felt as if they had been struck by lightning, and they were all sent flying back, feeling their blood and qi churning in their bodies. With your little strength, you dare to court death? Ling Xiao said indifferently. A vast and terrifying aura erupted from his body. His blood and qi rose like a blazing sun, giving people a great sense of oppression. He was like a chaotic fiend god, looking down at Shi Bufan and the four experts. Long Out Yen, don't be so arrogant. If you don't hand over the time compass today, you will die without a doubt. Shi Bufan's eyes revealed a trace of madness. Rumble. Seven-colored blood light rose around him, and his aura skyrocketed, breaking the limit of the earth realm in an instant. It only stopped when it reached the peak of the heaven realm. Around Shi Bufan's body, the power of time intertwined like divine chains, turning into dense sword light. Finally, it gathered into an incomparably blazing white ancient sword that bloomed with immortal light. Shi Bufan held the immortal sword in his hand, and an extremely dangerous aura suddenly erupted from his body. For brothers, attack with all your might. Long Out Yen must die today. Shi Bufan did not turn his head. His eyes were filled with blazing killing intent as he stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly. Crack! The immortal sword in his hand emitted a blazing light. In an instant, it moved across the sky, causing the void to distort. It was as if it had transcended the limits of time and space, arriving in front of Ling Xiao in an instant. The sword light was incomparably sharp. It was formed by the time essence around Shi Bufan. It represented his comprehension of the power of time. Coupled with his powerful cultivation base, it was even more terrifying to the extreme. Now that's interesting. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He gently stretched out two fingers and caught the immortal sword in an instant. His sparkling fingers emitted an immortal luster and directly shattered the sword light. Then, he flicked it gently. Wang! The immortal sword trembled violently, causing Shi Bufan's expression to change. He felt an unparalleled divine power attacking him, causing his arm to feel a little numb. He spun in the void like a spinning top. The sword light intertwined like a dragon and shot up into the sky in an instant. The power accumulated in the 9 heavens was at its peak. Then, it swooped down and pierced toward Ling Xiao's head. Rumble. From afar, it looked like a huge tornado was coming, wanting to tear everything into pieces. The four experts roared at the same time. Terrifying auras rose from their bodies, and their cultivation soared rapidly, reaching the heaven realm in an instant. They were all geniuses of their clans. They had all kinds of secret heavenly techniques in their hands. Naturally, they also had explosive secret techniques that allowed them to temporarily possess the cultivation base and combat strength of the heaven realm. Boom! The burly young man held two giant axes. They crossed each other like a black whirlwind. The huge axe light was extremely domineering, as if it was going to split heaven and earth in half. Whoosh! The black-robed young man's aura was extremely soft. He instantly turned into a faintly discernible shadow, hiding in the void. He was waiting for an opportunity to launch a fatal blow toward Ling Xiao. The other two experts, a white-robed young man holding a saber and a purple-robed young man holding a spear, attacked like a dragon. Their auras intertwined, one long and one short. They actually performed a joint attack and attacked Ling Xiao at the same time. Shi Bufan was above, and the four experts attacked from all directions, trapping Ling Xiao in the middle. They all exploded with their strongest power. When 5 Heaven Realm experts attacked, an ordinary person would be severely injured even if they didn't die. However, Ling Xiao was not an ordinary person. When Shi Bufan and the other 4 experts attacked at the same time, he also attacked. Roar! An ancient and mysterious dragon roar exploded in the void. It was as if the primordial ancestral dragon was announcing its majesty to all living beings. A vast dragon's aura erupted from Ling Xiao's body. He was shrouded in golden divine light. Every pore on his body was emitting chaotic light. His blood vessels were vibrating like divine dragons, and his blood was surging like a river. His aura was terrifying to the extreme in an instant. Ling Xiao crossed his arms like the claws of a dragon. In an instant, a huge golden dragon that was shining with golden light coiled around his body. It looked very lifelike. The dragon's scales were sharp and sturdy, forming a golden dragon-shaped barrier. Boom! Shi Bufan's immortal sword was incomparably swift and fierce. It fell from the sky and instantly slashed on the dragon-shaped barrier. The attacks of the 4 experts, almost at the same time as Shi Bufan, blasted on the dragon-shaped barrier. A terrifying divine light storm erupted, and the sound waves spread out. It was like the rumbling of divine thunder from the 9th heaven. The blazing divine light rose and rushed in all directions. It dispersed all the chaotic mist in the surroundings, turning it into a vacuum state. However, after the blazing divine light dispersed, Shi Bufan and the other 4 experts' eyes suddenly shrank. Their faces were filled with disbelief and shock. What? After suffering the terrifying attacks of the 5 Heaven Realm experts, the huge dragon-shaped barrier did not move at all. There was no sign of it shattering at all. It was still incomparably sturdy, blooming with immortal light. It even reflected Ling Xiao's indifferent and calm face. Not good, retreat quickly. Shi Bufan's heart pounded violently. He felt an incomparably dangerous aura from Ling Xiao's eyes. Without thinking, he instantly retreated at an extremely fast speed. After hearing Shi Bufan's words, the 4 experts were stunned for a moment. They also retreated at the same time, falling behind Shi Bufan. But it was still too late. Roar! The golden dragon that shrouded Ling Xiao seemed to have awakened from a deep sleep. It opened its golden eyes, opened its huge mouth, and let out a terrifying dragon roar. The terrifying sound waves erupted, as if a golden sun had exploded in the void. The dragon roar seemed to be able to shatter the universe, make the heavens fall, and make billions of stars explode. Its power was terrifying and monstrous. Chapter 2278. Roar of the Ancestral Dragon. This was the supreme divine ability that Ling Xiao comprehended when he cultivated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon to perfection and condensed the ancestral dragon's body. It was the first dragon roar of the Archean ancestral dragon when he created the world. It contained the power of creation and destruction and directly affected the primordial spirit. The primordial spirits of the 4 experts became extremely dim at this moment. Their primordial spirit defensive sacred treasures were shattered silently. They were severely injured and their eyes were filled with horror. Even though Shi Bufan was a little further away and was blocked by the 4 experts, he still felt that his sea of consciousness was about to explode. His body trembled and his face was incomparably pale as he was sent flying. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes were blazing with killing intent. He took a step forward and immediately punched out like a dragon. The terrifying fist print directly blasted on the burly man's chest and directly penetrated his body. Blood rained down in the void. How could the burly man resist Ling Xiao's fierce and overbearing fist print? His entire body exploded. Even the violent struggle of his primordial spirit was instantly swallowed and suppressed by the wordless heavenly book. At this point, the first heaven's pride was killed by Ling Xiao. After killing the burly man, Ling Xiao did not stop at all. He instantly arrived in front of the black-clothed youth. Ah! Long Outyen. You're not human. You're not human, the black-clothed youth was scared out of his wits. His eyes were filled with horror. He endured the severe pain in his primordial spirit and wanted to use a teleportation technique to escape. He was known for his speed. With a slight shake of his body, he was about to disappear into the void. However, Ling Xiao directly broke through the void and grabbed the black-clothed youth. Then, he suddenly exerted force with both hands and directly tore the black-clothed youth into two halves. Run! Long Outyen, spare my life. I won't dare to go against you anymore. The remaining two experts desperately tried to escape into the distance. Their eyes were filled with incomparable fear. As they fled, they loudly begged for mercy, hoping that Ling Xiao would spare their lives. At this moment, they no longer had the slightest bit of fighting spirit. They had been completely frightened out of their wits by Ling Xiao. They even regretted attacking Ling Xiao, and their hatred for Shi Bufan had reached the extreme. If it weren't for Shi Bufan's instigation, they wouldn't have made the decision to attack Ling Xiao so easily. Too late. Ling Xiao said indifferently. With a flash of a secret teleportation technique, he appeared behind the two experts in an instant. Then, he punched out with both his fists. Two chaotic fists exploded in the void, completely engulfing the figures of the two experts. The power of the roar of the ancestral dragon had already severely injured their primordial spirits. Their strength had been reduced by 80 to 90%, and they couldn't even withstand a single blow from Ling Xiao. Their bodies were directly blasted apart by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao easily suppressed their primordial spirits and devoured their karmic luck. In a twinkle, the four great powerhouses all died in Ling Xiao's hands. What? Long Outyen, how can you be so strong? Shi Bufan's entire body trembled, and his eyes were filled with incomparable horror. He had been shaken by the roar of the ancestral dragon and had finally stabilized the injuries of his primordial spirit. However, in the blink of an eye, the four great powerhouses were so weak that they couldn't even withstand a single blow and died in Ling Xiao's hands. Shi Bufan's eyelids twitched. He couldn't figure out why the combined strength of the five great heavenly realm powerhouses still couldn't defeat Ling Xiao. Shi Bufan, let's settle this today. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His sharp and deep gaze fell on Shi Bufan. Suddenly, an incomparably terrifying aura locked onto Shi Bufan. Long Outyen, I admit defeat today. I'll leave the chrono compass with you for the time being, but one day, I'll come and get it personally. Shi Bufan's expression was extremely ugly. He glared at Ling Xiao hatefully and wanted to turn around and leave. Buzz! An ancient talisman appeared in his palm. It bloomed with dazzling light in the void and enveloped his entire body. Suddenly, the chaotic light exploded and a mysterious space-time gate was opened. Shi Bufan sneered and looked at Ling Xiao. He was about to walk into the space-time gate in an instant. That talisman was a space-time talisman. Legend had it that it was a supreme talisman left behind by the flowing time great emperor. It could shift the heavens and go anywhere as one wished. This was also Shi Bufan's final trump card. It could protect him from leaving. Ling Xiao's expression was very calm. He didn't show any signs of stopping Shi Bufan, but there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Boom! When Shi Bufan entered the space-time gate, the void trembled and a terrifying force bloomed in the space-time gate. Shi Bufan's body trembled violently and was directly ejected from the space-time gate. The talisman burned in the void and even the space-time gate disappeared in an instant. What's going on? Shi Bufan's body trembled and his eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. That was a space-time talisman left behind by the flowing time great emperor. It was a supreme talisman. How could it be dissolved silently? Shi Bufan felt that there was no passage in the space-time gate. There was only an incomparably chaotic space-time force. If he hadn't been fast enough, he would have been crushed into powder by the space-time force. It seems that you haven't fully comprehended the true meaning of the time Great Tao. Do you really think you can escape from the space of the time compass? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Buzz. As soon as his voice fell, the chaotic void suddenly shone with a dazzling light. The time compass appeared in the void and scattered mysterious space-time force. It intertwined and formed a huge boundary that enveloped Ling Xiao and Shi Bufan. It turned out that Ling Xiao had unknowingly used the time compass to set up a boundary. How could a mere emperor talisman break the boundary of an emperor weapon under such terrifying emperor aura? How can you refine the time compass? The time compass is an emperor weapon. Even if you've comprehended the true meaning of time, it's impossible for you to refine it so quickly. How did you do it? I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Shi Bufan's body trembled as he looked at the time compass in the void. His eyes were filled with unwillingness. His handsome face had turned ferocious as he stared at Ling Xiao. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. You can't accept this. But you still have to die. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and waved his hand gently. Immediately, the time compass came crashing down from the void. The terrifying space-time force intertwined like endless sword light and instantly turned Shi Bufan into powder. In front of an emperor weapon, even a sage was just an ant, let alone Shi Bufan. No matter how many schemes he had, in the face of absolute power, they were all useless. As for how Ling Xiao controlled the power of the time compass, Shi Bufan probably didn't even know until he died. He could be considered to have died with everlasting regret. Shi Bufan's primordial spirit was suppressed by the wordless heavenly book and his fate was also absorbed by Ling Xiao's God clan seal. However, a rainbow-colored blood bead suddenly flew out from Shi Bufan's shattered body. It flowed with a mysterious and ancient light and seemed to contain endless space-time fluctuations. It instantly attracted Ling Xiao's attention. This is... Chapter 2279. The rainbow-colored blood bead looked ancient and mysterious, containing majestic energy fluctuations. Vaguely, there seemed to be an incomparably mysterious figure sitting cross-legged within it, like a deity, giving the blood bead a strange vitality. Shi Bufan was killed by Ling Xiao, but this rainbow-colored blood bead was not destroyed. It definitely did not belong to Shi Bufan, but the blood of a powerful existence. This rainbow-colored blood bead actually contains such a majestic source of time. Could it be? Ling Xiao's heart trembled, and he began to guess. Rumble. At this moment, the time compass in the void seemed to have sensed the power of the rainbow-colored blood bead, and instantly began to tremble violently, releasing a dazzling brilliance. The Emperor's aura within seemed to be awakened. As for the rainbow-colored blood bead, it instantly fused into the time compass. The time compass seemed to have eaten something extremely nutritious, and instantly, it shone with a dazzling light. Runes rose, containing incomparably mysterious energy fluctuations, as if they could destroy the heavens in all directions. The scene was shocking. The powerful power of time intertwined, causing the surrounding void to distort. In an instant, a dazzling light beam shot out from the time compass, directly shooting into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness seemed to be surging with huge waves. The sound waves were vibrating like a great bell. A piece of resplendent scripture exuded an ancient and mysterious light. A vast amount of true meaning was transmitted into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Time reverses, traveler of time, immortal chaos, transcends eternity. The mysterious scripture rang out, like the sound of the heavenly Tao, but also like the chanting of the ancient people, causing flowers to fall from the sky, and golden lotuses to bloom from the ground. The surroundings were filled with auspicious qi, and dazzling rays of light. It was incomparably mysterious. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit sat cross-legged in the void, and the light before his eyes was resplendent. He vaguely seemed to see an incomparably mysterious figure sitting cross-legged, speaking of the mysteries of time, the true meaning of time. This is the time scripture. Ling Xiao's heart trembled, and he immediately sensed that this was the supreme scripture of the flowing time great emperor, the time scripture. The scripture of a great emperor contained the supreme emperor's Tao, as well as all the knowledge of a great emperor. It could be said to be all-encompassing and incomparably precious. It was a supreme art that pointed directly to the heavenly Taos. This was the first complete imperial sutra that Ling Shao had obtained. Even though the Taishu Heart Rune scripture contained the cultivation method of the supreme heart Tao, the Taishu emperor was not a true great emperor after all. The Taishu Heart Rune scripture had not transformed into a true emperor scripture. Ling Zhao's soul was translucent and gave off a mysterious glow. He was enveloped by the true meaning of the way of time and menstruation, sinking into a deep state of comprehension. His fleshly body, primordial spirit, grand Tao laws, and Tao of heart had all undergone a strange transformation as he comprehended the time and menstrual cycle. The time compass enveloped Ling Shao, distorting the surrounding space and time. The flow of time also underwent a strange change. 2 times, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. The flow of time around Ling Shao changed drastically. It only stabilized when the flow of time accelerated by over 10,000 times, reaching the limit that Ling Shao could endure. 10,000 times the flow of time meant that one day in the outside world was equivalent to 30 years of cultivation here. Ever since Ling Shao had ascended from the mortal world, his cultivation had also improved by leaps and bounds. He had grown to the point where he could suppress countless geniuses in the universe and look down on the world. However, because his cultivation speed was too fast, there were still some hidden dangers in his body. Moreover, his foundation was still inferior to those ancient geniuses. After all, his cultivation time was still too short. In the long run, it would affect Ling Zhao's future cultivation progress and cause irreparable damage. This time, he had obtained the inheritance of the time and menstrual cycle, which was a rare transformation for Ling Shao. It allowed him to have a clear understanding of his own body, make up for his shortcomings, and constantly strive towards a perfect state. This was the greatest opportunity that Ling Shao had obtained from entering the land of inheritance of the Flowing Time Emperor. The land of inheritance of the Flowing Time Emperor was a separate entity, faintly separated from the chaotic battlefield. Therefore, the outside world was not clear about what had happened in the land of inheritance. However, the deaths of Shi Bufan and Yuanqin Saint were not hidden from everyone. Nirvana, Yuanqin, and Shi Bufan all died in the hands of Long Outyen. On a perilous peak in the chaotic battlefield, Tianzi was sitting cross-legged in the chaotic fog, breathing in and out the chaotic qi. Suddenly, he opened his eyes, shooting a cold light in all directions. There were 4 powerful figures standing around Tianzi. A white-robed monk, a scholar with a folding fan, a black-robed youth, and a skinny boy in black. The 4 of them were protecting Tianzi. The 4 of them were Buddha Wuxin of the Myriad Buddha Temple, Saint Yi Jiming of the Fane of Destiny, Jun Wuhan of the Heavenly Mantra Sect, and Soul Reaping Boy of the Darkness Heavenly Sect. After hearing Tianzi's words, the 4 of them trembled, revealing an unconcealable look of shock on their faces. Nirvana, Yuanqin, and Shi Bufan all died in the hands of Long Outyen? How is this possible? There was a look of disbelief in Jun Wuhan's eyes. One had to know that Nirvana Saint's son, Yuanqin Saint's son, and Shi Bufan were the 7 prodigies under Tianzi. There was not much difference in strength between them. Even if the 4 of them were slightly stronger, it was not by much. Moreover, they were even more wary of Shi Bufan's control of the power of time. Now that they heard that the 3 of them had all died in the hands of Long Outyen, the 4 of them were shocked and furious. Damn it! Long Outyen is simply courting death. How dare he kill Nirvana, Yuanqin, and Shi Bufan? Isn't he afraid of Tianzi's revenge? Soul Reaping Boy's extremely ear-piercing voice resounded, his eyes filled with cold murderous intent. Umitba, Long Outyen's strength cannot be underestimated. Tianzi, Long Outyen is probably the biggest obstacle to you becoming the chosen one. Buddha Wuxin said flatly with a smile on his face. He looked dignified, like an eminent monk. No matter what, he killed Nirvana, Yuanqin, and Yuanqin. He's already our mortal enemy. Tianzi, to prevent any accidents, why don't we capture Long Outyan's old friends so that he won't attack the rat for fear of breaking the vases? How about it? Yi Jiming said slowly. His expression was indifferent and calm, but his words caused everyone's hearts to tremble. Yi Jiming wanted to use Long Outyan's old friends to threaten Long Outyan. He knew Long Outyan's character very well, which was why he did so. It could be said that he was vicious. Hee. I think that's a good idea. Tianzi, what do you think? Chapter 2280. Sure. Split up and find out the whereabouts of Long Outyan's friends and acquaintances. Once you find anything, inform me immediately. I will personally take action and capture all of them. No matter what, I can only be the chosen one. Tianzi's eyes flashed as he said coldly. Boom. He slowly stood up, and chaotic light rose around him. The terrifying aura seemed to be able to shatter the sky. Above his head, the golden power of fate rose like a dazzling sun, releasing endless light and heat. Yes. The four sky prides could not help but feel a chill in their hearts as they lowered their heads and cupped their fists together. In the next few days, under Tianzi's lead, the four sky prides continued to attack. While defeating other sky prides to collect providence, they also searched for the whereabouts of Ling Xiao's friends and acquaintances. The undercurrent in the chaotic battlefield became more turbulent. Have you heard? Feng Qingyang from the Taisheng Palace has been captured by Tianzi. Why? Feng Qingyang did not offend Tianzi, did he? I heard that it's because Feng Qingyang is related to Long Outyan. Anyone who is related to Long Outyan has suffered. Feng Qingyang should be the fourth person to be captured by Tianzi, right? That's right. Other than Feng Qingyang, I heard that Wu Yang, Old Goat, and Saintess Jin Se were also captured. Is Tianzi trying to use them to force Long Outyan out? It seems like a battle between Tianzi and Long Outyan is inevitable. Some people in the chaotic battlefield were discussing. In the last few days, the Emperor and his four geniuses were invincible. Not only did they eliminate many geniuses from the powerful races, they also captured Jin Se, the Old Goat, Daoist Wu Yang, and Feng Qingyang. At the same time, Tianzi had also announced that Long Outyan had to apologize to Tianzi within 3 days. Otherwise, he would kill all 4 of them. However, 3 days were almost up and Long Outyan was still nowhere to be seen. Many people thought that Long Outyan was afraid. After all, Tianzi's brilliance was too dazzling. Everyone thought that even if Long Outyan were to appear, he would still be defeated by Tianzi. Supreme Peak. Tianzi and his 4 sky prides tied Jin Se and the other 3 to 4 stone pillars and waited quietly for Ling Xiao's arrival. This Tianzi is really shameless. He actually dares to sneak attack us. Bastard, if it weren't for the fact that I can't use the devouring heaven array disc, I would definitely kill this bastard. The Old Goat cursed loudly, his eyes filled with anger. Old Goat, you better be honest. We didn't expect to run into Tianzi. With our current strength, it's not a loss to lose to Tianzi. Daoist Wu Yang said with a bitter smile. Jin Se's expression was calm and she didn't say a word, while Feng Qingyang's face was full of depression. The Son of Heaven had captured the 4 of them, but he didn't steal their fates. Instead, he bound them here. He wanted to use them as bait to lure Ling Xiao over. The 4 of them were defeated by Tianzi one by one. Tianzi was too strong. Even though the Old Goat, Daoist Wu Yang, and Jin Se were not weak, they were still no match for Tianzi. Not to mention, Tianzi had 4 other heaven's prides as his subordinates. I just hope that brat Ling Xiao doesn't stupidly rush over for fear of breaking the vases. Otherwise, I'm afraid it won't end well. Daoist Wu Yang sighed and said slowly. Tianzi sat cross-legged on the supreme peak with his eyes closed, as if he didn't care about the 4's conversation. Do you guys think Long Outyan will come? Soul-hooking boy suddenly asked. As long as he knows about the news that we released, he will definitely come. After all, based on my understanding of Long Outyen, he is a righteous person. He will definitely not watch his friends die. He will definitely come to rescue them. Yi Jiming said slowly with a wisp of wisdom in his eyes. Oh. Brother Jiming, you are so familiar with Long Outyen? Jun Wuhan asked curiously. I know a little about him. But I'm sure that he will come. Yi Jiming said with a faint smile. Ba, someone is coming. Arhat Wuxin suddenly chanted the name of Buddha. His eyes shone brightly as he looked into the distance. Swoosh! A figure came across the sky at an extremely fast speed. It moved through layers of voids like lightning and appeared in the sky above the super peak in an instant. It was a lady in a white dress. She looked extremely beautiful with snow-white skin. Her temperament was extraordinary and she exuded an ethereal aura. She was riding on a white dragon horse. The dragon horse looked extremely majestic. Its white fur was as smooth and shiny as silk. There was not a single strand of hair that was out of place. Its 4 limbs were like heavenly pillars and it exuded a powerful dragon aura. However, her eyes were extremely arrogant and she was looking for a beating. At this moment, she was looking down at Yi Jiming and the other 3 with disdain. You bastards, go and find Long Outyen if you can. What's the point of bullying his friends? If you know what's good for you, let them go quickly. Otherwise, I'll make you bleed. Before the lady in the white dress could speak, the white dragon horse shouted arrogantly. Its voice was like a dragon's roar that contained powerful sound waves. You are Saintess Xue Wei of the Samsara Temple. Yi Jiming's eyes flashed as he suddenly recognized the lady in the white dress. The lady in the white dress was Xue Wei and the white dragon horse was naturally the white dragon horse. After they heard the news that the emperor had released them, Xue Wei made a prompt decision to come and save the 4. Even the white dragon horse couldn't persuade her and had to come with Xue Wei. That's me. Let them go and I won't kill you. Xue Wei said calmly. Her temperament seemed even more ethereal. She sat on the white dragon horse with her white dress fluttering. Her entire being seemed to have merged with the void of heaven and earth. The chaotic mist in the surroundings surged into her body and then dissipated from her body. She looked incomparably mysterious. Saintess Xue Wei, I didn't expect you to reach the 3rd heaven realm in just a few years. That's amazing. However, do you really think you can save the 4 of them by yourself? Yi Jiming stared at Xue Wei and said with a sigh. He had met Xue Wei a few years ago. Back then, Xue Wei was only a 9th revolution half-saint. However, in just a few years, she had reached the 3rd heaven realm. Yi Jiming, an ancient prodigy of the Fane of Destiny, was also very impressed. Xue Wei's cultivation had already surpassed his. The emperor's cultivation was in the heaven realm, while the 4 prodigies under him were only in the earth realm. They hadn't broken through the 3rd heaven realm. You can try. Xue Wei said calmly. There was no emotion in her voice. Boom! Blazing divine light surged around her. It was like a divine halo behind her, containing the mysterious power of reincarnation. It was sparkling and resplendent, making her seem even more mysterious and unfathomable. Chapter 2281. Not only was Xue Wei in the heaven realm, but her aura was so strong that even Yi Jiming and the other 4 supreme talents felt threatened. How is this possible? Didn't Xue Wei only join the Samsara Temple a few decades ago? How can her aura be so condensed? It's as if she has a foundation of billions of years. Wuxin Arhat said slowly with a solemn look in his eyes. This must be the Samsara Temple's secret skill of reincarnation. Her true spirit is indestructible after thousands of reincarnations. She must have received an incredible inheritance that allowed her to have such a terrifying foundation. Yi Jiming said slowly. Secret skill of reincarnation. It's ranked 4th among the 12 sky arts. Perhaps it will fall into my hands today. The soul-hooking boy said with a sinister smile, his eyes full of greed. So what if it's the secret skill of reincarnation? I don't believe that the combined strength of the 4 supreme talents can't take down this little girl. Jun Woohan said with a cold smile. At that moment, the emperor was still sitting on the peak with his eyes closed, as if he didn't notice the appearance of Shui Wei and the white dragon horse. However, Yi Jiming and the other 3 supreme talents knew that this was the emperor's test for them. If they couldn't even take down Shui Wei, their status in the emperor's heart would be greatly reduced. Therefore, not only must they win this battle, they must win it. Are you done with your discussion? If so, come and accept your death. Shui Wei said calmly with a cold look in her eyes. Buzz. She waved her slender fingers in the void and instantly, her 10 fingers stirred up the chaotic aura around her. In an instant, they turned into 10 sword radiances that pierced through the heavens and the 9 supreme talents and charged towards Yi Jiming and the other 3 supreme talents. Kill her. The soul-snatching boy sneered. His body flashed and disappeared into the void. A terrifying dark aura shrouded the sky in all directions. It seemed as if it had blocked everyone's vision and perception. Even their 5 senses had been sealed. He hid in the void like a venomous snake, waiting for an opportunity to kill Shui Wei. Ba. Since you're so stubborn, I have no choice but to use my skills to subdue you. The first move of the Buddha's palm, the first appearance of Buddha's light. Heartless Arhat put his palms together and lowered his head. He looked solemn and dignified, but at this moment, a blazing Buddha light suddenly rose from his palms. It was vast and mighty, as if a Buddha who could suppress the 9 heavens and 10 earths had appeared between heaven and earth. The Buddha light could cleanse all darkness. Rumble. The sword light shooting at the soul-catching boy was instantly enveloped by endless darkness and dissolved into nothingness. Heartless Arhat's Tathagata divine palm had the power to subdue demons, so it smashed the sword light into dust. 5 decays of celestial being, decaying body. Jun Woohan's eyes were blazing with cold light. He formed a seal with his palms, and a series of mysterious runes rose into the air. They activated the power of the heavenly way in all directions and shrouded Shui Wei. The 5 decay of heavens and man was Jun Woohan's strongest killing secret skill. It was a supreme emperor's skill of the heavenly curse sect. It was said that when cultivated to the extreme, it could cause the 10,000 worlds to enter the 5 decay of heavens and man, consigned to eternal damnation. The so-called body decay was targeted at the physical body. The curse of the heavenly curse sect was extremely strange and impossible to guard against. It controlled the power of the heavenly way to kill the opponent. At this moment, everyone could only feel a terrifying curse power spreading towards Shui Wei. Shui Wei, who was in the void, shuddered and shattered in an instant. She's so weak. Jun Woohan was stunned. Although his 5 decay of heavens and man was powerful, he did not expect it to kill Shui Wei in one blow. Oh no! Soul-catching boy, be careful. Yi Jiming suddenly trembled and exclaimed. Rumble. Yi Jiming exuded an illusory aura as if it was the supreme heavenly way that transcended the 9 heavens. It made his aura extremely terrifying. When he struck out his palm, the scene of the sun, moon, and stars disappearing at the same time appeared around him. Heaven's response palm. Yi Jiming used the powerful emperor technique of the Feign of Destiny, Heaven's response palm. It controlled the power of destiny and could directly cut off the thread of destiny of others. It directly attacked the fate matrix and destroyed it. The Heaven's response palm was extremely domineering. Yi Jiming would not use it easily. However, in a moment of desperation, he even used the Heaven's response palm. The soul-catching boy was hiding in the void with the protection of endless darkness. He was waiting for an opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Shui Wei. However, he did not expect Shui Wei to be killed by Jun Woohan's 5 decay of heavens and man. The soul-catching boy was stunned. Just as he was stunned, he suddenly heard Yi Jiming's voice and knew that things were not good. Shui Wei silently appeared behind the soul-catching boy and gently patted his back with her palm. Rumble. A terrifying divine light suddenly exploded. The power of reincarnation rose as if it could destroy all life. It exploded in the soul-catching boy's body. In an instant, the soul-catching boy's body trembled violently. He spat out blood and was directly sent flying. Just as Shui Wei was about to follow up with another palm to kill the soul-catching boy, Yi Jiming attacked. Crack! The light of reincarnation rose from Shui Wei's palm and collided with Yi Jiming's response palm. Suddenly, the void rumbled and the blazing divine light exploded. Yi Jiming was directly sent flying. Even Shui Wei was forced to take a few steps back. Bastard, how dare you sneak attack me? How could you appear behind me without making a sound? The soul-catching boy's face was extremely gloomy as he stared at Shui Wei. Shui Wei's palm had seriously injured him. However, he did not understand how Shui Wei could appear behind him silently. She did not even notice when he used the light and darkness secret technique. Little dwarf, how can there be so many impossible things? Your grandpa horse can move the heavens and 10,000 worlds. I have the fastest speed in the world. Not to mention teleporting behind you, even teleporting to your mother's bed would be as easy as flipping my hand. Do you believe me? The white dragon horse suddenly spoke and chuckled. It looked extremely arrogant. However, its words were too crude. Everyone's face could not help but twitch. Their eyes were filled with incomparably strange expressions. Ah! Bastard, I'm going to kill you. The soul-catching boy had never suffered such humiliation before. He was instantly enraged. His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. He immediately wanted to kill Shui Wei and the white dragon horse without caring about anything else. Soul-catching boy, don't be rash. He's deliberately provoking you. Yi Jiming stopped the soul-catching boy and said. Chapter 2282. Pfft, coward. The white dragon horse snorted and said with disdain. The soul-reaping boy was so angry that his body twitched. Smoke was about to come out of his nose, but he held it in and turned his head away from the white dragon horse. He was afraid that if he looked at the white dragon horse, he would not be able to control himself and kill it. Heaven's responding palm. Extraordinary indeed. Shui Wei did not even look at the soul-reaping boy. She looked at Yi Jiming and said indifferently. Humph. Your eternal reincarnation seal is not bad either. Yi Jiming's face was a little ugly. Although he had used the heaven's responding palm, he still suffered a lot from Shui Wei. The blood in his body was in turmoil, and the power of reincarnation was wreaking havoc in his body. It was as if it wanted to destroy all the life in his body. He spent a lot of effort to suppress the power of reincarnation. However, Yi Jiming knew that he was indeed weaker than Shui Wei. Among the 12 sky techniques, the chaos, destiny, karma, and reincarnation secret techniques were ranked in the top 4. However, there was not much of a difference between them. They all contained the ultimate profoundness. The key was the comprehension level of the user. To Yi Jiming's surprise, Shui Wei's mastery of the secret art of reincarnation was so profound that he actually felt like he was about to be knocked out of the cycle of reincarnation and consigned to eternal damnation. Everyone, go all out. This little girl is very strong. Yi Jiming said slowly. His eyes were filled with strong fighting spirit. Rumble. A terrifying aura surged around him, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. A mysterious aura of destiny flowed around him, causing his aura to skyrocket. He practically broke through the limits of the earth realm in an instant and directly ascended to the heaven realm. Boom! 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 Just as Yi Jiming used the secret technique of destiny, Heartless Arhat used the secret technique of karma, Jun Wuhan used the secret technique of heavenly curse, and the soul-reaping boy used the secret technique of light and darkness. The cultivation of the 4 sky prides had all ascended to the peerless heaven realm. 4 heavenly realms. Miss Shui Wei is in danger. Feng Qingyang's eyes revealed a trace of worry. Although Yi Jiming, Wuxin Arhat, Jun Wuhan, and the soul-catching boy had all joined the emperor's side, it had to be said that they were rare peerless geniuses in the world. Their strength was extremely terrifying, far surpassing that of many geniuses from other greater thousand worlds. Although Shui Wei was very strong, facing 4 monstrous geniuses who had raised their cultivation to the heaven realm, this battle was still worrying. Don't worry. Shui Wei would definitely win. If Shui Wei couldn't defeat the 4 of them, the white dragon horse, that cowardly old bastard, would have fled with Shui Wei a long time ago. Looking at him, I can tell that he has full confidence in Shui Wei. The old goat laughed indifferently. He was full of confidence in Shui Wei. Even if Shui Wei can defeat Yi Jiming and the other 3, she's probably not a match for Tianzi. I can only hope that the white dragon horse can escape with Shui Wei. Otherwise, it will be troublesome. Taoist Wu Yang said slowly. His voice was filled with worry. The emperor's strength was simply too strong. That kind of strength was indescribable with words. The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang considered themselves to be monstrous geniuses, but they seemed to have no power to resist in the emperor's hands. It was an absolute suppression of strength. She's Shui Wei. She and Ling Xiao. What's their relationship? Jin Sei looked at Shui Wei curiously. She had vaguely heard about Shui Wei before. Based on her intuition, there was probably a very subtle relationship between Shui Wei and Ling Xiao. She didn't know why, but after seeing Shui Wei, Jin Sei's originally calm heart seemed to be a little disturbed. Heavenly Sword of Light and Darkness. The 7th style of the Million Buddha's greeting, Heavenly Buddha descends. 5 decays of heaven and man, Qi decays. Heaven obeying palm. The soul-catching boy, Wuxin Arhat, Jun Wuhan, and Yi Jiming attacked at the same time. The 4 heavenly realm experts unleashed their full combat strength and displayed their supreme emperor techniques. The terrifying power dispersed the surrounding chaotic fog. Divine light swept across the sky like a storm, enveloping Shui Wei in it, and an intense battle began. Whoosh! Shui Wei rode the white dragon horse at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, she moved thousands of miles away. At the same time, she displayed a powerful secret reincarnation technique to fight against her enemies. She was enveloped by the reincarnation divine light, and there was a faint wave of invulnerability. Her attacks looked ethereal and mysterious, as if they were ethereal and otherworldly. However, they contained an incomparably terrifying power, causing Yi Jiming and the other 3 to feel their scalps tingle. They had no choice but to fight back with all their might. Rumble. The battle between Shui Wei and the 4 was incomparably intense. It was as if 5 bright suns had appeared in the sky, constantly colliding with each other. Each collision was like a volcanic eruption, spewing out endless light and heat. So powerful. I didn't expect Shui Wei to become so strong after not seeing her for so long. The old goat secretly clicked his tongue. Shui Wei should win. Taoist Wu Yang's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. Boom! As soon as Taoist Wu Yang's voice fell, a blazing and dazzling light suddenly erupted in the void. A huge samsara halo appeared above the 9th heaven. It looked simple and mysterious. It rotated endlessly, containing a mysterious wave of indestructible power. A terrifying divine light storm suddenly erupted. Yi Jiming and the other 3 were struck by the reincarnation halo. In that instant, it was as if they were struck by lightning. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and couldn't help but fly out. Shui Wei's face was extremely beautiful. Her entire body emitted a crystalline and ethereal wave of energy, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. The reincarnation halo floated behind her, causing her aura to skyrocket. Boom! Shui Wei struck out with her palm, and a palm print flew down majestically. It was like a supreme immortal light that swept across the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It instantly hit the soul-reaping boy's chest, directly slapping him down from the sky. Boom! 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 Shui Wei struck out 3 more times. Each palm contained a vast amount of heaven and earth mighty power, as if it could tear the sky apart. While Yi Jiming and the other 2 were sent flying by the reincarnation halo, she struck them at the same time. The vast heaven and earth mighty power seemed to be able to tear everything apart. Yi Jiming and the other two couldn't resist at all. Their bodies trembled violently, and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. They were instantly severely injured. Boom! A terrifying aura intertwined around Shui Wei. Her eyes were incomparably sharp. Just as she was about to kill Yi Jiming and the other three in one go, an extremely cold voice rang out in the void. Enough! Chapter 2283. Boom! The light in Tianzi's eyes was so intense that it seemed to have materialized. In an instant, it collided with Shui Wei's palm. The surrounding void trembled violently. The light was so intense that it seemed to be able to tear everything apart. I didn't expect the reincarnation sage constitution of the Samsara temple to be so powerful. You're Shui Wei. Tianzi stood up slowly and looked at Shui Wei. You're the son of the heavenly emperor. If you really have a grudge against Long Outyen, you should go and take revenge on him. But you actually did such a despicable thing. Aren't you afraid of embarrassing the heavenly emperor? Shui Wei stared at Tianzi and said coldly. Little girl, you're still too young. In this world, the strong are respected. It doesn't matter if I'm despicable or not. If I'm stronger than them, then I can control their life and death. Don't you think it's too childish to talk about despicable and shameless in front of me? Tianzi smiled faintly and looked very calm. The strong are respected. If I'm stronger than you, does that mean I can kill you? Shui Wei's eyes were filled with coldness as she stared at Tianzi and said coldly. That's right. If you're stronger than me, I can only blame myself for not being strong enough to die in your hands. But do you have the ability? Tianzi stared at Shui Wei and said coldly. How do you know if you don't try? Shui Wei's eyes were filled with coldness. In an instant, an extremely powerful aura erupted from her body. Rumble. The reincarnation divine light around her was dazzling, causing her aura to skyrocket. Shui Wei exuded a mysterious aura that was impenetrable. She looked like a saintess of the 9 heavens. She slammed her palm towards Tianzi. The reincarnation divine light trembled slightly. The vast reincarnation energy seemed to want to pull Tianzi into the reincarnation cycle and destroy his true spirit. Seal of Eternal Reincarnation. Shui Wei executed the Supreme Emperor technique of the Samsara Temple. She used the secret technique of reincarnation to activate the Seal of Eternal Reincarnation, making this move even more terrifying. It was almost able to destroy the sky. Seal of Eternal Reincarnation. It's indeed extraordinary. But it's a pity that you're still too weak. Tianzi said faintly as he threw out a simple punch. Crack. The light of chaos rose up and the sky all around seemed to shatter. The Son of Heaven's fist landed and ancient and mysterious worlds appeared in the chaos, suppressing towards Shui Wei at the same time. Just a simple heavenly emperor's fist was enough to suppress everything. Boom! The collision between the seal of 10,000 worlds Samsara and the heavenly emperor's fist resulted in a resplendent ripple of light. Like a storm, it swept away all the mist in the surroundings. Within the destructive power, there seemed to be mysterious scenes of the birth and destruction of worlds. It was enough to make people's minds tremble. It was as if their souls were about to be sucked in and completely obliterated. Kill! Shui Wei's eyes flashed with sharpness. Not only did she not retreat, but she also unleashed a powerful killing technique towards Tianzi, aiming for his vital points. Rumble! Shui Wei and Tianzi instantly engaged in a fierce battle. The void was filled with their figures. Every time they collided, an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation would erupt. However, the old goat and Taoist Wuliang's eyes were filled with worry. Although Shui Wei is strong, I'm afraid she's not Tianzi's match. Taoist Wuliang said with a bitter smile. This little girl is too stubborn. She shouldn't have come. However, could that bastard Ling Xiao be in seclusion? Otherwise, if he hears the news, he'll definitely come. The old goat said with a depressed tone. He was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Although he knew that Tianzi was extremely strong, he believed that as long as Ling Xiao was willing to take action, he would definitely be able to defeat Tianzi. I just hope that Xue Wei won't be too stubborn. If she can't win, she'll leave quickly. The white dragon horse should be able to bring Xue Wei away safely. Taoist Wu Yang sighed softly as he looked at the figures fighting in the void. At this moment, even the white dragon horse couldn't interfere in the battle between Tianzi and Xue Wei. The white dragon horse's eyes were filled with craftiness. At this moment, its eyes were rolling around as it silently moved towards Yi Jiming and the other three. He knew that Xue Wei wasn't Tianzi's match. However, if he could capture the four supreme talents under Tianzi, he might be able to make Tianzi wary. Evil beast, what are you trying to do? The soul-hooking boy was extremely sharp. He instantly noticed the white dragon horse's movements and couldn't help but roar. His eyes were filled with vigilance. What am I trying to do? Hee hee, of course I'm going to take your lives. The white dragon horse chuckled. Like a ghost, it instantly appeared in front of the soul-hooking boy. Then, its huge hooves came crashing down on the soul-hooking boy's face. Bastard! The soul-hooking boy was enraged. He wanted to defend himself, but he was severely injured. How could he be a match for the white dragon horse? Instantly, the white dragon horse's hooves landed on his head. His vision turned black and he fainted. And the three of you, go down. The white dragon horse chuckled. Its malicious gaze landed on Yi Jiming, Bodhisattva Wu Xian, and Jun Wuhan. Oh no! Yi Jiming and the other two's hearts pounded. Without thinking, they turned around and wanted to escape. However, they were severely injured. How could they escape the white dragon horse's attack? Bang! 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 The white dragon horse's figure formed a series of afterimages in the void. Its hooves landed on Yi Jiming and the other two's heads, knocking them unconscious. White dragon horse, you bastard! Why aren't you coming to save us? The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang were overjoyed. They did not expect the white dragon horse to be so strong. It had clearly broken through the third limit and entered the third heaven realm. The white dragon horse took care of Yi Jiming and the soul-hooking boy in an instant. It did not even take much effort. Even Tianzi, who was fighting with Xue Wei, did not react. The old goat and the white dragon horse all had hope of escaping. They hoped that the white dragon horse could save them. Don't worry. There's no one that I can't save. The white dragon horse laughed smugly. Whoosh! It was like a bolt of white lightning. In an instant, it charged towards the old goat and the other three. The old goat and the other three were imprisoned on 4 stone pillars. The pillars were covered with runes. The white dragon horse wanted to break through the pillars and the runes to save the old goat and the other three. Heavenly Horse Dragon Fist. The white dragon horse roared. Its huge hooves turned into a huge fist and slammed into the stone pillar behind the old goat. Boom! The stone pillar trembled violently. The runes on it exploded. However, new runes appeared. It was as if they were endless. They were extremely sturdy and could not be broken. Bastard, you're courting death. Chapter 2284. Tianzi did not expect the white dragon horse to secretly knock out Yi Jiming, Wu Xian Arhat, Jun Wuhan, and the soul-reaping boy while he was fighting with Xue Wei. At this moment, it even wanted to save the old goat and the others. He was instantly enraged. The restrictive runes on the 4 stone pillars were personally enchanted by the Son of Heaven. They were extremely sturdy and contained a mysterious and vast power fluctuation. Even when the white dragon horse used the Pegasus Dragon Fist, it could not break them in one blow. However, Tianzi knew that if the white dragon horse was allowed to continue, the old goat and the others would be rescued by him sooner or later. Boom! Tianzi threw a punch in the air. Divine light rose from his body as if there were flames burning. It turned into a huge flaming fist print, flowing with endless divine light, and suppressed the white dragon horse. Tianzi, your opponent is me. Shui Wei's eyes were extremely sharp. Her slender jade-like fingers shot out streaks of sharp sword qi. It was extremely terrifying and wanted to stop Tianzi. Get lost. Tianzi did not even look at Shui Wei. He directly threw out a palm and shattered the streaks of sharp sword qi. Then, he suddenly sent Shui Wei flying. As for the flaming fist print that he threw at the white dragon horse, it was still coming at it in a mighty manner. It was an attack that was filled with anger, intending to kill the white dragon horse directly. Moreover, Tianzi knew that the white dragon horse had the extreme speed to move the heavens. Therefore, this punch enveloped the old goat and the others. If the white dragon horse dodged, the old goat and the others would definitely fall under Tianzi's punch. Despicable and shameless. The white dragon horse cursed. It really did not dare to take the risk. It could only use all its strength and brace itself to meet Tianzi's punch. Boom! Terrifying chaotic light exploded. The huge dragon shadow formed by the white dragon horse's Pegasus dragon fist suddenly exploded. Endless flames were annihilated. The white dragon horse let out a strange cry and was directly sent flying by Tianzi. You ants have successfully infuriated me. As a gift, I will grant you death. Tianzi's eyes were extremely cold and his voice was filled with killing intent. Crack! Thunder and lightning raged in the void. Tianzi's body emitted an ancient and majestic qi. Dazzling divine light lingered around him. It seemed as if an ancient great emperor had appeared behind Tianzi. Tianzi's qi swept across the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Tianzi was filled with an invincible qi. This is the Heavenly Emperor Sutra. Not good, Shui Wei and the white dragon horse are in danger. The old goat's body trembled, and his eyes revealed an extremely solemn expression. Tianzi's strength was extremely terrifying. He was probably one of the top existences in the entire chaotic battlefield. Even if the old goat was confident that Ling Xiao could defeat Tianzi, it wouldn't be that easy. When Son of Heaven was fighting Shui Wei and the white dragon horse, he didn't use his full strength. The Heavenly Emperor Sutra was Son of Heaven's most powerful sutra. Now that Son of Heaven was using the Heavenly Emperor Sutra, it meant that he was using his strongest power. Rumble. As soon as the old goat finished speaking, Son of Heaven made his move. His fingers were like a sword, and in an instant, the sword radiance rose and turned into an incomparably huge sword aura in the void, slashing down towards Shui Wei. The sword radiance split into billions of rays, as if it contained a vast and mysterious world of swords, and directly enveloped Shui Wei. Kill! Shui Wei's eyes were extremely sharp, and the reincarnation light around her rose, turning into a huge reincarnation seal, and flew towards Son of Heaven. Rumble! Heaven and earth shook violently as blazing divine light exploded. Shui Wei's expression couldn't help but change. She felt an unstoppable force assault her. Instantly, the seal of samsara shattered with a loud bang. The sword light turned the light of samsara around Shui Wei into fine powder, and then directly slashed her away. Bastard, eat my fist! The white dragon horse roared, and the blazing divine light around it rose. The dragon's aura was vast, and the dragon's roar shook the heavens. A huge dragon-shaped shadow soared into the sky, turning into a huge fist, and blasted towards Son of Heaven. Pegasus Dragon Fist. When the white dragon horse saw that Shui Wei was in danger, it attacked Son of Heaven. It did not expect to defeat Son of Heaven, but it just wanted to buy time for Shui Wei. You're courting death. Son of Heaven's eyes flashed coldly, and the chaotic light around him rose. The Heavenly Emperor's fist blasted out, and the surrounding chaotic void surged towards the center, and suddenly collided with the Pegasus Dragon Fist. Bang! Endless divine light exploded, and the huge dragon-shaped fist was directly blasted into powder by Son of Heaven. The white dragon horse let out a strange cry, and directly flew out. In 2 moves, Shui Wei and the white dragon horse were both defeated by Son of Heaven. Surrender, you're no match for me. I didn't expect to see a dragon horse here. If you're willing to be my mount, I can spare your life. Son of Heaven stared at the white dragon horse and said, Be your mount? Are you worthy? My master is at least an ancient emperor. I don't even want a despicable and shameless person like you as my mount. The white dragon horse said with disdain. Since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, then you can only die. Son of Heaven said indifferently, but there was a cold killing intent in his eyes. Rumble. He leaped up, and his speed was as fast as lightning. In an instant, he blasted out hundreds of punches towards Shui Wei and the white dragon horse. Each punch contained boundless divine power, as if it could shatter the void. Blazing divine light exploded, and the chaotic mist rose. The scene was extremely shocking, and it looked extremely terrifying. Bang! 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 Shui Wei and the white dragon horse tried their best to resist, and displayed their strongest strength, but they were no match for Son of Heaven. They were at a disadvantage in almost every blow, and were suppressed by Son of Heaven. Kacha! A blazing light shot out from Son of Heaven's eyes. In an instant, the bright runes in his palm rose, and directly turned into a divine light that destroyed everything, and shot towards Shui Wei and the white dragon horse. Heavenly World Extermination Light. Daoist Wuliang exclaimed, recognizing that it was a supreme secret skill in the Heavenly Emperor scripture. Its power was extremely terrifying, and it was not something that ordinary people could resist. Chapter 2286. The Heavenly Tao World Annihilation Light was the strongest emperor technique that Tianzi cultivated. It contained the Heavenly Emperor's understanding of the Heavenly Tao and could destroy all life. It was extremely terrifying. In the face of the Heavenly Tao World Annihilation Light, Shui Wei and the white dragon horse's expressions changed drastically. Rumble. Shui Wei's skin was as clear as jade and circles of mysterious runes appeared. She formed a seal in the void with her slender fingers and the vast power of reincarnation gushed out from her body. Vaguely, there were 6 ancient and mysterious worlds that intertwined with each other, containing extremely terrifying energy fluctuations. 6 paths of reincarnation. Shui Wei channeled the secret art of reincarnation to the extreme and created a supreme forbidden art. Her body turned into the 6 paths of reincarnation, capable of dragging billions of living beings into the cycle of reincarnation, never to be reincarnated again. Roar! The white dragon horse roared into the sky and released a dragon-like sound wave from its mouth. It was ancient and desolate, powerful and majestic, containing the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Behind the white dragon horse, a huge dragon shrouded in chaos appeared. The dragon's aura was unparalleled, like the ancestor of the dragon clan. As it breathed, billions of stars fell. Roar of the ancestral dragon. This was the immemorial ancestral dragon's supreme superpower and also the sound wave secret technique that was passed down from the white dragon horse's bloodline. At this moment, it completely exploded, causing the surrounding chaotic void to explode. In the face of the Heavenly Tao World Annihilation Light, Shui Wei and the white dragon horse both chose to use their strongest power to deal with it. Rumble. The Heavenly Tao World Annihilation Light fell, as if it was going to penetrate the heavens and earth. It collided with the 6 paths of reincarnation and exploded with billions of blazing divine light fluctuations. The roar of the ancestral dragon exploded and the terrifying fluctuations collided with the divine light and were annihilated at the same time. However, what shocked Shui Wei and the white dragon horse was that after the 6 paths of reincarnation and the roar of the ancestral dragon shattered, the Heavenly Tao World Annihilation Light did not seem to be affected at all. It continued to shoot towards Shui Wei and the white dragon horse, wanting to pierce through them directly. The Heavenly Tao World Annihilation Light reflected the Tianzi's cold and majestic face. He was completely filled with murderous intent. Shui Wei and the white dragon horse both felt the threat of death. Both of them quickly retreated to the back, but it seemed like they had no way to avoid the attack of the Heavenly Path World Annihilation Light. Just as the Heavenly World Exterminating Light was about to hit Shui Wei and the white dragon horse, the void suddenly shook violently. A black palm stretched out from the void. Endless darkness surged and collided with the heavenly world, exterminating light. Then, both were annihilated. Who is it? A divine light flashed in Tianzi's eyes as he gazed into the distance. He could vaguely feel an incomparably powerful aura fluctuation there, which made him feel a great threat. Rumble. The void vibrated as the chaos chi coiled around. An incomparably pure darkness chi spread out like a black sun that appeared in the void. A black-robed figure walked out from the black sun, exuding a dignified, mysterious, domineering, and insufferably arrogant energy fluctuations. It was a handsome young man. His body was slender and strong. His skin glowed, and a powerful aura rose around him. It was suffused with a black light. A faint smile hung on the corner of his mouth, making him look extremely evil. His expression was indifferent as his deep eyes stared at Tianzi. The aura around him was majestic and unparalleled. He was vaguely on par with Tianzi, and he was not at a disadvantage at all. It's him. Old Goat and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other with a strange look in their eyes. The person who came was Darkness Ling Xiao. Although they knew that Ling Xiao's clone, Darkness Ling Xiao, had gone to the demon world and entered the chaotic ancient land to participate in the Heavenly Choice Convention, they did not expect to see Darkness Ling Xiao here. Did young master send his clone to save us? Shui Wei thought to herself. Her big, clear eyes sparkled like stars as she stared at dark soaring cloud without blinking. After Darkness Ling Xiao appeared, Old Goat and the others unconsciously heaved a sigh of relief, as if they had found their backbone. A monster from the demon clan? Among the demon clan, only the original prince and the undying prince can reach the third heaven realm. Who are you? Tianzi stared at Darkness Ling Xiao and said coldly. He could feel the terrifying aura of this young man from the demon clan in front of him. His cultivation had reached the third heaven realm, but he had no impression of this young man in front of him. Especially when Darkness Ling Xiao broke the heavenly Tao world annihilation light with a raise of his hand, Tianzi's expression became serious. If you want to know my name, you'll have to defeat me first. Darkness Ling Xiao smiled indifferently. Then, a sharp light flashed in his eyes. The battle intent around him rose as he directly attacked Tianzi. Whoosh! Darkness Ling Xiao's body surged with black demonic light. In an instant, the surrounding chaotic void whistled as if it had turned into a domain of darkness. Monstrous demonic aura surged as if an ancient demon emperor had come into being. A black fist mark soared into the sky and enveloped Tianzi. Darkness Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the Dark Demon Emperor. Not only did his cultivation break through to the heaven realm, but he also obtained a few secret killing techniques, which made his combat strength unfathomable. After seeing Tianzi, Darkness Ling Xiao was also excited. He wanted to fight with Tianzi to prove his current combat strength. You're courting death. Tianzi's eyes turned cold. He did not expect this young man from the demon clan to be so arrogant. Even the original prince and the undying prince did not dare to be so arrogant in front of him. Darkness Ling Xiao's attitude angered him slightly. Boom! Tianzi's fist was invincible. The chaotic fist mark swept across the void. The vast and terrifying Heavenly Emperor's fist mark exploded with destructive power. It wanted to kill Darkness Ling Xiao directly. Kacha! The two fists collided. The void shook violently, causing the surrounding heaven and earth to rumble. Dark demonic light surged, and a vast Emperor's aura vaguely spread out. Darkness Ling Xiao and Tianzi trembled and were sent flying at the same time. Heavenly Emperor's fist. Ha ha ha. That's right. I really want to see how powerful the legendary Heavenly Emperor's fist is. Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he laughed heartily and charged towards Tianzi. Boom! 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 Darkness Ling Xiao's body was enveloped by the darkness origin energy. Wherever he went, heaven and earth turned into darkness. The sun and moon were destroyed, and all living beings died. Everything entered the state of returning to the void, causing his fist mark to possess a destructive power. The end of all living beings, the place of returning to the void, was eternal darkness. Chapter 2287. Ultimate Fist. This was a supreme fist technique in the scripture of darkness. It could control the power of darkness origin and shake the heavens. The power of darkness origin. You're the successor of the Dark Demon Emperor. Tianzi's eyes flashed as he stared at dark soaring clouds. The Dark Demon Emperor was the supreme emperor of the demon race. Tianzi had heard of the Dark Demon Emperor's name and had a certain understanding of him. Therefore, he immediately thought of the Dark Demon Emperor when he felt the aura of darkness origin from dark soaring clouds. So what if you're the successor of the Dark Demon Emperor? It's not like I haven't killed the son of the Dark Demon Emperor. Tianzi's eyes were cold as he soared into the sky and unleashed the Heavenly Emperor's fist towards dark soaring clouds. Boom! In the void, the black and white balls of light collided. It was as if the sun had exploded, spewing out endless blazing light, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Dark soaring clouds and Tianzi moved freely in the void. Their figures collided rapidly and then retreated. Countless afterimages appeared in the void, causing people to be dazzled. It was impossible to tell which one was the real one. They were like spiritual apes climbing up, like divine dragons soaring through the sky, or like ancient vicious beasts fighting to the death. Every strike was incomparably terrifying, aiming directly at the opponent's vital points. The battle had just begun, and it was already incomparably intense. Although the fist of the Celestial Emperor was known as the #1 fist technique capable of suppressing all the heavens, the fist of the abyss was also a peerless monarch technique from the scripture of darkness. Combined with the power of darkness, the fist of the abyss was pushed to the extreme. Every strike from the fist of the Celestial Emperor was capable of destroying a world. This demon race monster is so powerful. He can actually fight with Tianzi to this extent? But why did he come to save us? Feng Qingyang said with emotion. Then, he looked at the old goat and Taoist Wuliang suspiciously. Maybe he has a grudge against Tianzi. The old goat said with a laugh. A grudge? Feng Qingyang's eyes revealed a trace of suspicion. He felt that the old goat was not telling the truth, as if he was hiding something. This made him even more curious. White Dragon Horse, you and Shui Wei hurry up and heal your injuries. While Tianzi is distracted, find an opportunity to break the restriction so that we can escape from here. Taoist Wuliang's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice to the White Dragon Horse and Shui Wei. At this moment, the White Dragon Horse and Shui Wei were also severely injured. Hearing this, they sat down cross-legged and swallowed healing elixirs to heal their wounds. The restriction left behind by the Emperor was incomparably powerful. In their current state, if they forcefully broke the restriction, they would only alarm the Emperor, and they would not be able to save the old goat and the others. The best way was to wait until his injuries were healed, then attack with all his might in his peak state to break the Son of Heaven's restriction and save the 4 people. Boom! The void trembled as the black demonic light exploded. Although the end of Ruin's fist was powerful, it still couldn't block the Sky Sovereign's fist. It was shattered by the Son of Heaven's punch. Darkness Lingxiao staggered back, opening up an opening. Kill! Tianzi seized the opportunity. Murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He rushed forward and punched dark soaring clouds in the chest. Kacha! Lightning flashed and chaotic mist intertwined. The Sky Sovereign's fist contained the vast power of heaven and earth, as if it could shatter everything. It fiercely imprinted itself on Darkness Lingxiao's chest. A terrifying power erupted and dark soaring firmament's entire body trembled violently. Then, he exploded with a loud bang. It's just an afterimage. Tianzi's eyes flashed. After Darkness Lingxiao was blasted apart by his punch, he realized that it was just an afterimage of Darkness Lingxiao. It cleverly evaded his perception. At this moment, a piercing sound came from behind him. A strong sense of threat surged in his heart. Without thinking, Tianzi directly punched behind him. At the same time, he kicked out in the air. There was a violent explosion in the void. This kick seemed to be able to shatter a mountain. Bang! Darkness Lingxiao silently appeared behind Tianzi. A black palm blade slashed down. The blade aura was incomparably blazing. When it collided with Tianzi's punch, a blazing divine light fluctuation erupted. You're quite alert. Darkness Lingxiao smiled faintly. He faced Tianzi's kick in the air and directly punched out. He had just used the teleportation secret technique. In the devil world, he had obtained a great opportunity. In terms of teleportation secret technique, he had even surpassed Tianzi's original body. When he used the teleportation secret technique, even Tianzi's perception was deceived. However, Tianzi was incomparably alert. His battle instincts were strong. He instantly thought of a countermeasure. Boom! Darkness Lingxiao's punch landed on Tianzi's foot. The void trembled, and the chaotic mist dispersed. He flipped his wrist and directly grabbed Tianzi's ankle. A terrifying power erupted from his body, and he was about to lift Tianzi up. Get lost! Tianzi's eyes turned cold. His other foot kicked towards Darkness Lingxiao's face. It was as fast as lightning. If the kick landed, Darkness Lingxiao's head would explode in an instant. At the same time, an unparalleled divine power erupted from Tianzi's body. The blood in his body seemed to be burning. His finger was like a sword as it pierced towards Darkness Lingxiao's forehead. Emperor Imprisoning Finger. It was also a supreme secret technique from the Heavenly Emperor scripture. The power of the Heavenly Emperor's finger was terrifying to the extreme. The Heavenly Emperor's finger was sparkling and translucent like jade, emitting an immortal light. The surrounding void trembled violently, as if it was being twisted by the Heavenly Emperor's finger. The vast heaven and earth directly pressed down on the dark clouds. Bang! Darkness Lingxiao's other arm blocked in front of him. It collided with Tianzi's foot, and the sound of metal clashing could be heard. At the same time, Darkness Lingxiao violently lifted Tianzi up and threw him towards the ground. Darkness Sky/Blade. Darkness Lingxiao's eyes turned serious. There was a black demonic light on his palm, and the surrounding sky trembled slightly. Blazing blade light burst out, and suddenly slashed towards Emperor Imprisoning Finger. He could feel the terror of Emperor Imprisoning Finger. It was as if a casual attack could completely break his body. It had the power to pierce through everything. Kacha! Although Tianzi was thrown down by Darkness Lingxiao, Emperor Imprisoning Finger was still in the sky. It suddenly collided with Darkness Sky/Blade, and a dazzling divine light fluctuation erupted. A crisp sound rang out as the dark sky shattered into pieces. The indestructible imprisoning Heavenly Emperor Finger shot toward Dark Lingxiao's glabella. Not good. The old goat and Daoist Wu Yang's faces changed drastically. They could not help but exclaim. Puff! Terrifying divine light surged like the sea. Blazing lightning crisscrossed, and blood splashed. The void was filled with a thick smell of blood. Chapter 2288. The power of the caging Emperor's finger was unparalleled. It contained the power to pierce through everything. Even the dark heavens/blade could not withstand it and was shattered by the finger. The sharp finger light pierced through everything and suddenly pierced between Ling Zhao's eyebrows. Suddenly, blood light filled the air and the void shook violently. Tianzi's expression changed slightly. He originally thought that the caging Emperor's finger could directly pierce through Dark Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness, shatter his primordial spirit and kill him completely. However, he did not expect that the caging Emperor's finger could only pierce through the skin between Dark Ling Zhao's eyebrows and was blocked by something incomparably hard. The caging Emperor's finger. It's just so. Dark Ling Zhao sneered. The blood between his eyebrows flowed down his cheeks, making his face look evil and cruel. He suddenly stretched out 2 fingers and black demonic light lingered around them. In an instant, he pinched the caging emperor's finger and a terrifying dark force burst out. It contained the power to devour everything and suddenly erupted. Rumble. Dark Ling Xiao used the heaven-devouring secret technique and the scripture of darkness at the same time. His fingers were incomparably sharp. They followed the caging emperor's finger and began to extract the energy in Tianzi's body. The terrifying devouring power burst out as if it could completely devour all vitality. Tianzi instantly felt the origin energy in his body crazily rushing into Dark Ling Xiao's body. Get lost. Tianzi's face turned cold. He wanted to withdraw, but he found that the caging emperor's finger was firmly imprisoned by a strange force. There was no way for him to escape. Want to leave? Then leave this finger behind. Dark Ling Xiao sneered. Suddenly, an unparalleled divine power burst out from his fingers, twisting them. A crisp sound was heard in the void. Qiu Tiandi's fingers were broken by Dark Ling Xiao. Tianzi groaned and suddenly flew back. His face was slightly pale, but his eyes were incomparably sharp and filled with monstrous killing intent. He did not expect that not only did the caging emperor's finger not kill Dark Ling Xiao, but it was also broken by him. Who are you? How can your bones be so hard? Tianzi said with an ugly expression. He could sense that Emperor Qiu Tian's finger had failed to penetrate Dark Soaring Sky's sea of consciousness because it had pierced through Dark Soaring Sky's skull. Dark Soaring Sky's skull was so tough that even Emperor Qiu Tian's finger couldn't penetrate it. Dark Soaring Cloud was a doppelganger refined from Dark Soaring Cloud's original demonic bone. Although it had the same Yuan spirit as the main body, and its potential was even stronger than the main body's, it was still the original demonic bone. The original demonic bone was an unimaginable treasure, and even the wordless heavenly book couldn't do anything to it. Therefore, although the Emperor's finger was strong, it couldn't break Dark Soaring Cloud's skull. I told you, you don't deserve to know my name. Darkness Ling Xiao said indifferently. Black lightning shot out from his eyes. In an instant, he pulled out his arms, and a black halberd with black lightning coursing through it appeared. It was ancient and majestic as it smashed down towards the Heaven Child. Great Desolate Darkness Halberd. This was a supreme divine weapon formed from the power of the origin of darkness. It could transform into thousands of forms according to Dark Soaring Cloud's will. Furthermore, it was extremely sharp, allowing Dark Soaring Clouds to bring out the full potential of the scripture of darkness. Rumble. Above the void, dark light surged, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Dark Soaring Cloud held the great desolate halberd in his hand, like an ancient dark demonic emperor, exuding an insufferably arrogant aura. He wanted to kill the Heaven Child directly. Kill. The Heaven Child's eyes were filled with monstrous battle intent. He was completely enraged by Dark Soaring Cloud. One of his hands emitted a dazzling golden light, turning into a terrifying ancient seal. It floated above the 9 heavens, surrounded by countless figures of chaotic divine demons who were worshipping it. This ancient seal was like an emperor's item that controlled all the heavens and myriad worlds. It was the king of all gods, the supreme authority of all spirits. It contained an unfathomable aura. His other hand was like a sword, and a dazzling and ancient sword light appeared. It was engraved with the mysterious scenes of the human race's struggle and the war of all spirits. Moreover, the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, and plants appeared, containing the fate of the human race and the fate of all living beings. The Heaven Child unleashed a golden fist print and ancient sword light at the same time, attacking Dark Soaring Cloud. It was as if he was the only one left in the world, dominating all living beings through the ages. This is the Heavenly Emperor's seal and the human sovereign sword. The supreme technique of the Heavenly Emperor's scripture, a peerless emperor technique on par with the Heavenly Emperor's fist. This time, Dark Soaring Cloud is in danger. The old goat's eyes flickered as he recognized the peerless emperor technique used by the Heaven Child. He couldn't help but exclaim. Although he was from the demon race, he was a disciple of the heaven-devouring monarch and knew many ancient secrets. He naturally knew many of the heavenly emperor's supreme techniques that shocked the heavens and myriad worlds. The heavenly emperor's seal was a peerless emperor technique that controlled all the gods, billions of stars, and countless saints. It could control the heavenly Tao's laws and suppress everything with unparalleled power. On the other hand, the mortal emperor's sword even carried the karmic luck of the human race and all living beings. It contained the brand of all living beings from the moment the chaos was split open to the moment they flourished and were even destroyed during the great calamity of an era. It could judge all living beings and was invincible. The heavenly emperor's fist, the heavenly emperor's seal, and the human sovereign sword. These were the three peerless emperor techniques that the heavenly emperor used to suppress the heavens and myriad worlds during the ancient times. Even many ancient great emperors were defeated by these three peerless emperor techniques. Now, the heaven child seemed to be completely enraged by Dark Soaring Cloud. He directly used the heavenly emperor's seal and the human sovereign sword at the same time, wanting to completely destroy Dark Soaring Cloud. Rumble. The dark great desolation halberd's aura was monstrous and contained endless devouring power. However, when the heavenly emperor's seal appeared in the sky, it was like a resplendent sun that instantly dispersed the endless darkness, leaving only eternal light between the heavens and earth. Crack. The heavenly emperor's seal pressed down mightily and collided with the dark great desolation halberd. It directly shattered the halberd and continued to fall towards Dark Soaring Cloud. Swoosh. 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 The human sovereign sword floated above the 9 heavens as if it had directly split the heavens into two. Mighty sword chi gathered and filled the void for hundreds of millions of miles. It was like a rainstorm that shot towards Dark Soaring Cloud. Those sword lights were invisible sword chi that directly affected the primordial spirit and fate chart. They seemed to have a form, but they were invisible and contained a kind of power fluctuation of the void of destiny. Good. Ha ha ha. He Lingxiao laughed loudly. There was no fear in his eyes at all. Instead, his aura fluctuated wildly and terrifyingly. He activated the endless source of darkness around him and pushed his arms out. An ancient and mysterious world of darkness rose up, encompassing everything and capable of devouring everything. In an instant, it was about to swallow the Celestial Emperor's seal and the Renhuang sword. Chapter 2289. Dark Heaven World. It was a peerless emperor technique from the darkness scripture. It could suppress everything and devour everything. It could pull the enemy into the eternal dark heaven world, never to be reincarnated. Facing the heavenly emperor's seal and the human sovereign sword, Dark Soaring Cloud also performed a peerless emperor technique from the darkness scripture. Rumble. Tianzi and Dark Soaring Cloud clashed in the 9 heavens. There was a terrifying shockwave and blazing divine light that blasted everything into nothingness. Dark Soaring Cloud and Tianzi were fighting with all their might. Both of them had performed their strongest techniques. All kinds of divine abilities and secret techniques emerged one after another. Although Dark Soaring Cloud is strong, he might not be a match for Tianzi. The old goat said with a hint of worry in his eyes. Although Dark Soaring Cloud and Tianzi were evenly matched, the old goat was still worried. He knew how powerful Tianzi was and how terrifying the heavenly emperor's bloodline was. Once Tianzi was forced into a corner and unleashed the heavenly emperor's bloodline, his strength would become extremely powerful. Not to mention, Tianzi had the heavenly emperor sword. Although extreme emperor weapons could not be used in the chaos battlefield, the heavenly emperor sword was not an ordinary extreme emperor weapon. Tianzi was the son of the heavenly emperor. He might have some secret technique that could break through the restrictions of the chaos battlefield. When that happened, Tianzi, who wielded the heavenly emperor's sword, would be able to kill everything. He was not someone Dark Soaring Cloud could contend against. Let's think of a way to leave this place quickly. Only by leaving this place can Dark Soaring Cloud escape unscathed. Taoist Wuliang nodded and said. Buzz. At this moment, Shui Wei and the white dragon horse, who were recuperating, opened their eyes. Their eyes were filled with divine light and their injuries were mostly healed. Tianzi and that guy are fighting to this extent? This is even better. He has no time to be distracted. We can save you guys. The white dragon horse lifted its head and looked at the battle between Tianzi and dark soaring cloud in the distance. Sister Jinsei, I'll save you guys now. Shui Wei looked at Jinsei in her red dress and was slightly stunned. However, she still smiled brightly. However, there was a hint of bitterness, envy, and melancholy in Shui Wei's smile. Even though Jinsei had lost her memory, she still felt that something was amiss. Thank you. Jinsei nodded faintly, her heart stirring slightly. For some reason, when Jinsei saw this pure and innocent girl in front of her, Jinsei's indifferent and calm heart was slightly disturbed. A complicated feeling slowly filled her heart. Shui Wei and Jinsei looked at each other and there was a long silence. The old goat, white dragon horse, and Taoist Wu Yang looked at each other. They all felt that the atmosphere was a little awkward. Cough cough, this should be the legendary spirit shackles of heaven and earth. It can shackle one's soul and cultivation. If you can't break it in one strike, you will definitely alarm the emperor. Are you confident? The old goat coughed softly, breaking the awkward silence as he spoke to Shui Wei and the white dragon horse. I'll give it a try. It shouldn't be a problem. Shui Wei said with a smile. Wait. The white dragon horse's eyes suddenly rolled around and landed on the unconscious Yi Jiming and the other three. Bang! 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 The white dragon horse suddenly turned into a flash of white lightning. Its speed was extremely fast as it used the heavenly horse dragon fist. Four huge hooves kicked the heads of Yi Jiming, Wuxin Arhat, Jun Wuhan, and the soul-catching boy. Yi Jiming and Wuxin Arhat suddenly rolled their eyes and fainted again. However, Jun Wuhan and the soul-catching boy did not have any reaction. Haha, you want to secretly treat your injuries under my nose? You really don't know what's good for you. But the two of you are too trashy. You are not even comparable to this gigolo and the bald donkey. You are wasting my strength. The white dragon horse laughed and looked at Jun Wuhan and the soul-catching boy with disdain. The white dragon horse was very sensitive and noticed that Yi Jiming and the other three had awakened. They were secretly healing and cultivating. It simply gave each of them a kick and immediately knocked Yi Jiming and Wuxin Arhat out again. As for Jun Wuhan and the soul-catching boy, it was purely an accident. They were already unconscious and were kicked by the white dragon horse. Swoosh! Shui Wei waved her sleeves and the power of space filled the air. She used the heaven and earth sleeve superpower and put Yi Jiming and the other three into her sleeves. Young master needs the 12 sky skills secret skills. The 4 of them are the saints of the sacred grounds and they should have the sky skills secret skills that young master needs. Get ready. I will help you break the heaven and earth spirit binding chains. Shui Wei explained to the crowd. Boom! A terrifying aura rose around Shui Wei. She slowly stretched out her jade white palm and a reincarnation seal slowly appeared in her palm. Terrifying fluctuations spread out as if it could open the door to reincarnation and send any living being into reincarnation. Her expression became extremely solemn. Then, she bit the tip of her tongue and spat out a mouthful of essence blood, which fused into the seal of samsara in her palm. The seal of samsara shone with golden light. It shone with blazing light, turning Shui Wei's palm into a pure golden color. Heaven Path Reincarnation Blade, slash. Shui Wei's face was a little pale but her eyes were extremely bright. She shouted softly and slashed at the heaven and earth spirit binding chains on the old goat and the other three. You're courting death. At the same time, Tianzi also noticed Shui Wei and the white dragon horse's actions. Murderous intent flashed in his eyes and a terrifying killing intent erupted from his body. He never thought that Yi Jiming and the other three would not only be captured alive by Shui Wei, but that Shui Wei would also break the heaven and earth spirit binding chains to save the 4. This was simply a provocation. Boom! Tianzi used the seal of samsara. A terrifying aura rose around him, and a resplendent golden light bloomed. He suddenly collided with dark soaring heaven, and dark soaring heaven was forced to retreat. Then, he rose into the air and the emperor's sword in his hand shone with unparalleled sharpness. He slashed down at Xue Wei. Tianzi, your opponent is me. Dark soaring sky's eyes were sharp. Dark divine light surged around him and black divine chains of order shot out. They intertwined into a huge net and blocked the emperor's sword. Rumble. Blazing divine light rose and the emperor's sword collided with the divine chains of order. The boundless power of laws exploded into dust and the emperor's sword was sent flying by dark soaring sky. At the same time, Xue Wei's saber of the heavenly ways slashed at the spirit-binding chains as well. The blazing inscriptions exploded loudly and the powerful seals shattered one by one. The seals on the 4 of them were completely destroyed. Boom. Chapter 2290. All of you have to die. Tianzi's eyes instantly became incomparably blood-red. The killing intent around him boiled, and an incomparably terrifying aura erupted from his body. Rumble. Golden blood light gushed out from Tianzi's pores. Every drop of blood contained an incomparably powerful force. It was like a small world that could crush the heavens and earth. The blood-colored light soared and faintly transformed into a mysterious figure behind the Son of Heaven. Although the face couldn't be seen clearly, the aura it exuded was enough to sweep across the heavens and suppress millions upon millions of gods and devils. This was the Emperor of Heaven, the sovereign of all spirits. It naturally had an invincible aura. With the support of that figure, Tianzi's aura instantly soared. It emitted a wave of power that made Dark Lingxiao's heart palpitate. That's the Sky Emperor. Dark Lingxiao's body trembled as his gaze became extremely solemn. He had encountered the 9 Emperor Phantoms during his previous tribulations. They were the imprints of the 9 Emperors of the human tribe. Among them, the Sky Emperor left the deepest impression on him. The Sky Emperor's fist could sweep across the 9 heavens and 10 lands and could suppress all enemies in the world. That aura was very similar to the figure in front of him. However, Dark Lingxiao vaguely noticed that although the Sky Emperor Phantoms were supported by Tianzi's power, they were somewhat uncoordinated. It was as if they were forcibly confined to Tianzi's body. It was very strange. Crack. Tianzi instantly struck. With the support of the Sky Emperor Phantoms, the Sky Emperor bloodline in his body seemed to have been completely awakened. An incomparably terrifying power erupted as he punched towards Dark Lingxiao and the others. The fist print was unparalleled and covered the entire world as if it was going to suppress and kill everything. Tianzi's gaze was indifferent. His killing intent was blazing as he completely unleashed his most powerful force. Oh no! You guys go quickly! Dark Lingxiao roared. Dark demonic light rose around him as a vast source of origin energy erupted. He pushed out with both his palms, causing the surrounding space to tremble. The dark world of chaos appeared once again, rushing towards Tianzi. Go! The white dragon horse felt its scalp tingle. It immediately carried the pale and exhausted Xue Wei and used the Great Shift technique to leave the place. The old goat, Jin Sei, Taoist Wuyang, and Feng Qingyang also used their extreme speed to flee into the distance. They knew that Tianzi's strength was too terrifying. Only darkness soaring cloud could contend against him. If they stayed, they would only be a burden. They might as well leave this place first. Boom! The huge fist print pierced through the sky and collided with the boundless dark heaven mixing world in an instant. The darkness that filled the sky exploded, and the endless chaotic fog disappeared. The dark heaven mixing world shattered with a loud bang. As if he had been struck by lightning, dark soaring clouds staggered backward, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. However, the aura that Tianzi used to lock onto the white dragon horse, old goat, and the others disappeared in an instant. The white dragon horse and the others took this opportunity to leave the place and disappeared without a trace. The Celestial Emperor's bloodline is indeed terrifying. Son of heaven, I will spare your life today. The next time we meet, it will be your death. Dark Ling Xiao clicked his tongue in his heart, but he didn't admit defeat. He shouted at Tianzi and took advantage of the fact that Tianzi had knocked him back. He turned into a black mist and disappeared into the void. I will remember all of you. All of you must die. In that case, I might as well go all out. Only I am the true chosen one. Tianzi didn't pursue Dark Soaring Cloud, White Dragon Horse, and the others. His eyes were filled with blood-red light, and a terrifying aura rose around him. He took a step forward and swept away. Mysterious runes rose from his eyes as if he could see through the chaotic void and see the figures in the chaotic battlefield. His target was the supreme experts in the chaotic battlefield. Tianzi went completely berserk. He used the most direct and violent method to eliminate everyone. Boom! Tianzi was enveloped in a golden blood-red light, spewing out red clouds, flames, and lightning. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were like lightning. He exuded an incomparably violent aura, like a god or a demon. He took a step forward and appeared on a mountain peak thousands of miles away. Chaotic fog intertwined there, and a toad-like giant beast was breathing in and out chaotic chi. It looked extremely ugly and ferocious. This was the first supreme genius that Tianzi had noticed. Who is it? How dare you disturb the cultivation of the great genius of the Devouring Soul clan? The toad-like giant beast spoke in human language, and its blood-red eyes stared at Tianzi. Its body exuded an incomparably dangerous aura. Die! Tianzi's eyes were incomparably cold. He spat out a word and stomped his foot. You're courting death. The toad-like giant beast was furious. It suddenly opened its bloody mouth, and a terrifying devouring power erupted. It was accompanied by a strange sound wave that seemed to be able to pull out a person's primordial spirit. It wanted to swallow Tianzi in one gulp. The Devouring Soul clan's innate ability was to devour the souls of living beings. This giant toad-like giant beast was a supreme genius of the Devouring Soul clan. Since entering the chaotic ancient land, it had devoured countless primordial spirits. Its strength was unparalleled, and it was already in the earth realm. Boom! However, Tianzi's giant foot landed, containing an incomparably terrifying power. It didn't seem to be affected by the giant toad-like giant beast at all. It directly stomped the giant toad-like giant beast into meat paste. Even the giant toad-like giant beast's primordial spirit was torn into pieces. It didn't even have time to scream. Unable to withstand a single blow. After Tianzi stomped the giant toad-like giant beast to death, he didn't stop at all and continued to move on to the next target. A bloody storm was set off in the chaotic battlefield. Wherever Tianzi went, many supreme geniuses would die in his hands. There was no one who could stop his slaughter. The chaotic battlefield became incomparably chaotic. Many experts fled in all directions. Some even joined forces to stop Tianzi's madness. However, without exception, they all failed and died in his hands. The fate above Tianzi's head was incomparably majestic. It was like a golden sun, extremely bright and exuding an incomparably mysterious aura. It made him seem like a bright lamp in the chaotic battlefield. His existence could be felt from afar. Tianzi is wantonly slaughtering. Looks like this guy is completely crazy. Let's find Ling Xiao quickly. Chapter 2291. I'll bring you to Ling Xiao. Dark Ling Xiao said to the crowd. Do you know where he is? Feng Qingyang asked curiously. He had always been curious about the guy in front of him. He was obviously a member of the demon clan, but the old goat and the others treated him well, as if they did not treat him as a member of the demon clan. After all, the demon race and the human race were mortal enemies. Once they met, it would be a fight to the death. Only one person could leave alive. He was very curious as to why the old goat had such a good attitude towards this demon genius, as if they were old friends who hadn't seen each other for many years. Don't worry. If he doesn't know where Ling Xiao is, then no one else will. The old goat smiled. Follow me. Ling Xiao should be coming out of seclusion soon. Dark Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. He could feel that his original body was immersed in the Tao of time and was about to wake up from that strange state of enlightenment. A storm was brewing in the chaos battlefield. After Tianzi's massacre, most of the supreme experts would be killed. The final battle was coming. Dark Ling Xiao had to admit that if he wanted to defeat Tianzi, he would need his original body. Whoosh! 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 Under Dark Ling Xiao's lead, the crowd rushed towards the direction of Ling Xiao's seclusion. The place where Ling Xiao was in seclusion was chaotic and contained vast space-time energy. Ordinary people would not be able to come here. Only Dark Ling Xiao could find Ling Xiao by relying on the connection between him and his original body. Soon, the crowd arrived at the Flowing Time Mountain. What a strange mountain. The mountains in the chaos battlefield are eroded by the chaos fog and have no vitality. However, this mountain is not affected at all and contains an incomparably majestic vitality. The old goat said in surprise. I seem to feel the rich space-time energy that has allowed this mountain to form a space without being eroded by the chaos fog. What is this place? Daoist Wuliang asked curiously as he looked at Dark Ling Xiao. This should be the place of inheritance of the Flowing Time Emperor, right? I didn't expect Shi Bufan to die here. At this moment, an indifferent and ethereal voice suddenly sounded in the void. Who's there? A glint flashed in darkness Ling Xiao's eyes as he stared at the void in the distance and berated. He didn't think that someone would be able to silently appear around them and eavesdrop on their conversation. Moreover, dark soaring firmament didn't notice at all. The person hiding in the dark must be a supreme expert. Wang! With a flash of light in the air, a young man in gray robes appeared. He seemed ordinary and indifferent, but his eyes were extremely resplendent and deep, as if they contained the scenes of the endless worlds. He gave off an unfathomable presence. The everlasting saint? How dare you come here? The old goat's eyes turned cold as he stared at the young man with an unfriendly expression. This young man was none other than the limitless saint of the primal chaos heaven sect. Limitless saint, you're the saint of the chaotic heavenly sect, yet you've followed us all the way here. What do you want? Daoist Wuliang said coldly. Ling Xiao had saved the limitless saint and Yuanqin saint before, but the news of Ling Xiao killing the blood prison emperor's son was exposed. This must have something to do with the limitless saint and Yuanqin saint. The Yuanqin saint had died in Ling Xiao's hands, so the old goat and the others naturally didn't have a good impression of the limitless saint. I'm just confirming whether Long Outyen is really here. It seems that he really is here. Hehe, the place of inheritance of the Flowing Time Great Emperor? What a great fortune he has. The limitless saint smiled indifferently, but there was a trace of envy in his eyes. Oh. So what if you know that Long Outyen is here? Don't tell me you want to attack him. Dark soaring firmament rolled his eyes and said expressionlessly. I'm very curious. What's the relationship between you, a member of the demon clan, and Long Outyen? You didn't hesitate to fight the emperor. It seems that the two of you have a close relationship. Don't tell me. Long Outyen is also a member of the demon clan. The limitless saint didn't answer dark soaring firmament's question directly. Instead, he smiled faintly. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang's faces changed, and they said coldly, Limitless Saint, don't slander us. Long Outyen is naturally a member of the human clan. If you don't state your intention, don't blame us for being impolite. Impolite? You can't even defeat the emperor. How can you be impolite? Don't worry, I'm not here to look for trouble. I want to ask you to help me bring something to Long Outyen. The limitless saint smiled disdainfully. What is it? The old goat asked. This is the Primal Chaos Secret Skills Inheritance Crystal. Help me bring it to Long Outyen. He saved my life before. Today, I'll pass the Primal Chaos Secret Skill to him. We're even. A light flashed in the palm of the limitless saint, and a crystal filled with primal chaos mist flew into the old goat's palm. What? You want to give the primal chaos secret skill to Long Outyen? The old goat and the others trembled, and there was a trace of disbelief in their eyes. What was the primal chaos secret skill? It was known as the top of the 12 sky techniques, and the primal chaos heavenly sex treasure. Legend had it that it contained the ultimate mystery of the universe. It was the origin of all techniques and the foundation of Tao. Countless saints and even great emperors wanted to comprehend the primal chaos secret skill, but the primal chaos heavenly sex strength was too terrifying and unfathomable. Ordinary people had no way of coming into contact with the primal chaos secret skill. The complete primal chaos secret skill was as valuable as a flawless emperor scripture, or even more. But now, the limitless saint said that he wanted to give the primal chaos secret skill to Ling Xiao. The old goat and the others were extremely shocked, and they almost thought that they had heard wrongly. That's right. I'll leave the inheritance crystal to you. Goodbye. The limitless saint said plainly, then turned around and left. Darkness Ling Xiao, the old goat, and the others looked at each other. In the end, the old goat held the inheritance crystal tightly in his hand. He felt that the inheritance crystal was extremely heavy. That's strange. Even if Ling Xiao saved him before, it was unintentional. There's no need for him to repay him with the primal chaos secret skill. Is there a reason that we don't know? Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself. Ling Xiao had collected more than half of the 12 sky techniques, and only the primal chaos secret skill, destiny secret skill, heaven curse secret skill, and light and darkness secret skill were left. They should be able to get the destiny secret skill, heaven curse secret skill, and light and darkness secret skill from Yi Jiming, Jun Wuhan, and the soul-catching boy. Only the primal chaos secret skill was left. Chapter 2292. Chaotic Battlefield. A mysterious figure stood with his hands behind his back on top of a mountain hidden in the chaotic void. He was shrouded in chaotic mist and his face could not be seen clearly. However, his eyes were deep and calm, as if they could see through the cycle of reincarnation and contained an ancient and wise light. Whoosh! The Wuji saint turned into a stream of light and came from afar. In an instant, he appeared above the void mountain. Then, he respectfully bowed to the mysterious figure. Senior, I have given the inheritance crystal of the primal chaos secret skill to Long Outyen according to your instructions. However, the Wuji saint said hesitantly. However what? An indifferent and calm voice slowly sounded, emitting a feeling that made people feel as if they were bathed in a spring breeze. I have something I don't understand. If you are related to Long Outyen, why didn't you give him the inheritance crystal of the primal chaos secret skill personally? Moreover, why did you tell me that Long Outyen is Ling Xiao and that he has the wordless heavenly book? The Wuji saint asked doubtfully. It turned out that the reason he gave the primal chaos secret skill to Ling Xiao was not to repay Ling Xiao for saving his life. It was the instruction of the mysterious figure in front of him. In particular, the mysterious figure also told him that Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book, which shocked him even more. After all, the textless heavenly scripture was the most mysterious chaotic treasure. Countless experts across the universe had wanted to obtain the textless heavenly scripture and comprehend its ultimate secrets over countless years. However, no one had been able to obtain it. 1,000,000 years ago, when the Scarlet Dragon War God had obtained the wordless heavenly book, the War God Hall had weakened because of it. The Scarlet Dragon War God had no choice but to leave the God world and hide in the lower realm. If the news of the wordless heavenly book was exposed, not only the God world, but also the universe would be in an uproar. He could not understand the intention of the mysterious figure in front of him. The fact that he had passed the primal chaos secret skill to Ling Xiao showed that they had a deep relationship. However, the fact that Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book was like a deliberate attempt to kill Ling Xiao. Wuji, you are the descendant of the Hunyuan Great Emperor. The blood of the Hunyuan Great Emperor flows in your body. However, believe me, doing Ling Xiao a favor will be beneficial to you and your family. The mysterious figure said flatly. Is Ling Xiao valued by you? This junior naturally believes senior's words. The everlasting saint said without hesitation. This mysterious figure was on good terms with their Hunyuan imperial clan's old ancestor. They had a very deep relationship. The everlasting saint trusted him very much. However, he still found it hard to believe that with this senior's talent and unrivaled strength, he would actually attach so much importance to Ling Xiao. Remember my words, you will understand in the future. As for why I spread the news that he has the wordless heavenly book, not only did I tell you, but I also told everyone on the chaos battlefield. This is a tribulation in his life. Whether he can survive or not depends on himself. If he can't even survive this tribulation, then so be it. The mysterious figure said calmly. Yes. The Wuji saint felt a chill in his heart as he bowed and said. He could feel the importance this senior placed on Ling Xiao, and he could also feel the indifference and heartlessness in this senior's bones. It was as if Ling Xiao's life or death did not matter to him at all. Go, the last battle of the chaos battlefield is about to begin. Although you can't become the chosen one, watching this battle will be beneficial to you. Since he has already obtained the 12 sky arts, this battle is just a small test for him. The mysterious figure slowly turned his head, and his deep and calm eyes fell on the Wuji saint. The Wuji saint felt as if he had been seen through. Yes. The Wuji saint nodded, bowed respectfully to the mysterious figure, and then turned to leave. Rumble. Just after the everlasting saint left, the entire chaotic battlefield began to shake violently. The chaotic mist rose, and the heavens and the earth shook. A mysterious aura gushed out like the vast heavenly Tao, enveloping everyone in the battlefield. The mysterious figure stepped forward, and lotus flowers appeared under his feet. They were ethereal and mysterious, and they were accompanied by a faint sigh that resounded in the void. The curtain has been drawn. It took me so long to choose you. I hope you won't disappoint me. As soon as he finished speaking, the mysterious figure directly disappeared into the void. In the flowing time mountain, Ling Xiao slowly woke up from his cultivation state. 3,000 years of dreaming. I didn't expect that I would cultivate for so long. A bright light shot out from Ling Xiao's eyes. It was as sharp as lightning as he lamented. At this moment, his temperament had changed. He looked like a mortal without any cultivation fluctuations. His clothes were whiter than snow, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His smile was incomparably clear, and he looked clean and beautiful. After Ling Xiao obtained the time compass, the flow of time within it had reached an astonishing 10,000 times faster. Although only 3 months had passed in the outside world, Ling Xiao had cultivated for 3,000 years in the time compass. Over the past 3,000 years, not only had Ling Xiao gained an extremely deep understanding of the scripture of time, but he had also begun to integrate the 7 heaven methods and secret arts he had obtained. Ling Xiao had also carefully honed his cultivation. Although he was still at the 3rd heaven realm, he was on a completely different level from before. Ling Xiao's understanding of the heavenly way and his own body had also become much deeper. Ling Xiao, you're finally out. Why do I feel like I can't see through you? When Old Goat and the others saw Ling Xiao suddenly appear, their eyes were filled with excitement. Ling Xiao had brought them here and they had been waiting for a long time. They were even a little impatient. The current chaos battlefield had changed too much. Many geniuses had been eliminated, and those who remained were all supreme experts of the younger generation without exception. They had invincible battle strength that could suppress the world. They also felt great pressure and were eager for Ling Xiao to come out of seclusion. Old Goat felt that although Ling Xiao looked like a mortal, he gave him an incomparable sense of danger. He was unfathomable, and he felt a familiar yet unfamiliar feeling. You're all here. It seems like the final battle of the chaos battlefield is about to begin. Ling Xiao looked at Old Goat and the others and was incomparably happy. He was especially relieved when he saw that Jin Sei and Xue Wei were safe and sound. This is the primal chaos secret technique inheritance crystal that the Wuji Saint asked me to give to you. He said that it's to repay you for saving his life, but I keep feeling that there's something wrong with it. White Dragon Horse handed the Primal Chaos Secret Technique Inheritance Crystal to Ling Xiao and then told him about their encounter with the Wuji Saint. Primal Chaos Secret Technique? Ling Xiao was a little moved. He did not expect the Primal Chaos Secret Technique, which was the most difficult to obtain, to be obtained so easily. It's not just the Primal Chaos Secret Technique. Young Master, we've also captured 4 of them. They should have the Sky Arts Secret Technique that you need. Chapter 2293. Yi Jiming, Wuxin Arhat, Jun Wuhan, and the soul-taking boy had all woken up, but their primordial spirits and cultivation were sealed. When they saw Ling Xiao, their expressions changed drastically. After all, they had once followed Tianzi to hunt Ling Xiao. Now that they had fallen into Ling Xiao's hands, the consequences could be imagined. The 4 holy sons of the Destiny Shrine, Myriad Buddha Temple, Heavenly Curse Sect, and Darkness Heavenly Sect? I didn't expect someone to send me a pillow just as I was about to take a nap. The corners of Ling Xiao's mouth curled into a smile that was not a smile. Long out Yen, if you want to kill me, then kill me. Cut the crap. Yi Jiming hardened his heart and said coldly. He also understood that now that he had fallen into Ling Xiao's hands, the odds were against him. Instead of begging for mercy, he might as well be more unyielding. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Why don't we make a deal? If you hand over your heaven arts and secret techniques, I can spare your lives. How about it? Ling Xiao said with a smile. Now, he already had 8 heaven art secret techniques. He only needed the Chaos Secret Technique, the Fate Secret Technique, the Heaven Curse Secret Technique, and the Light and Darkness Secret Technique to complete the 12 Heaven Arts. The 12 Heavenly Arts were the cornerstone treasures of the 12 immortal Holy Lands. It was originally recorded in the wordless Heavenly Book and was one of the top 12 secret techniques in the Heavenly Dipper realm. First in the Heavenly Dipper rankings, Primal Chaos Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper Rank 2, Secret of Destiny. Heavenly Dipper Rank 3, Karma Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper Rank 4, Reincarnation Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper Rank 5, Space-Time Secret Technique. Heaven Dipper Rank 6, Heaven's Punishment Secret Technique. Heaven Dipper Rank 7, Heaven Curse Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper 8, Light Dark Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper Rank 9, Nirvana Secret Art. Rank 10 of the Heavenly Dipper realm, Yin Yang Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper 11th rank, 5 Elements Secret Technique. Heavenly Dipper 12th, Heaven Battling Secret Technique. Yi Jiming had the secret technique of fate, Heartless Arhat had the secret technique of karma, Jun Wuhan had the secret technique of heaven curse, and Soul Hooking Boy had the secret technique of light and darkness. Coupled with the primal chaos secret technique that the everlasting saint had mysteriously sent over, Ling Xiao finally saw the hope of gathering the 12 heavenly arts. You want our heaven secret technique? Long out Yen, don't you dare. Jun Wuhan's gaze turned cold as he said in a cold voice. If they leaked the heaven secret technique, they would be severely punished when they returned to the sect. They might even be labeled as traitors. Rather than that, they would rather die. Why are you so stubborn? Although the heaven secret technique is precious, it can't be compared to the lives of the 4 of you, right? Don't worry, as long as you hand over the heaven arts secret technique, I can guarantee that it won't be leaked. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He was not at all surprised by Yi Jiming and the others' reactions. After all, the 12 sky techniques weren't any weaker than the complete Imperial Sutra. If Yi Jiming and the other 3 became saints, they would be able to unleash the full power of the sky techniques. At that time, it would be very difficult for Ling Xiao to capture them. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Yi Jiming and the others hesitated. They could see the killing intent in Ling Xiao's eyes. They did not doubt that if they did not hand over the heavenly arts secret technique, Ling Xiao would really kill them. After all, they were all heaven-defying heaven's favorites and had hopes of peeking into the highest realm. Of course, they didn't want to die here. Can you really guarantee that you won't kill us? Yi Jiming was silent for a moment as he stared at Ling Xiao. I guarantee that as long as you hand over the complete heaven art's secret technique to me, I will spare your lives. If you violate this oath, you will be abandoned by the heavens and will never be reincarnated. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and stretched out his hand. Then, a blood-red light flickered between his eyebrows. It intertwined in the void and formed an extremely mysterious rune. Then, it disappeared without a trace. Great Primordial Spirit Oath. Yi Jiming's eyes flashed. He could see that Ling Xiao had made a Great Primordial Spirit Oath. This oath directly affected the primordial spirit's fate. If one violated it, they would suffer an extremely severe backlash. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to make a Great Primordial Spirit Oath so easily. That's right. This is the Great Primordial Spirit Oath. I have shown my sincerity. Now, you can make your choice. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Then, he slowly walked in front of Yi Jiming and the others. An extremely powerful aura locked onto the four of them. Killing intent filled the air, causing Yi Jiming and the others' expressions to change. They knew that if they dared to refuse again, Ling Xiao would definitely kill them without hesitation. All right. I'm willing to hand over the secret skill of destiny to you. Yi Jiming gritted his teeth and made his decision. Although Wu Xian, Jun Wuhan, and the soul-reaping boy felt extremely aggrieved, their lives were more important now. They all agreed to hand over the complete secret skill of destiny to Ling Xiao. Buzz! 4 bright inheritance crystals landed in Ling Xiao's palm. They represented the secret skill of destiny, secret skill of karma, secret skill of heaven curse, and secret skill of light and darkness. Although Ling Xiao had already obtained the complete secret skill of karma, he was very curious to see if Wu Xian's secret skill of karma was the same as his. Very good. You have made the right choice. Don't worry. After the chosen one ends, I will let you go. Now, please take a nap. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Then, he pointed in the air and knocked Yi Jiming and the others unconscious again. Then, he handed them over to Ling Xiao. After the chosen one ends, I will leave them to you. As long as you don't kill them, you can do whatever you want. Ling Xiao said slowly. Do whatever I want. Their flesh and blood are incomparably delicious. I really want to have a taste. Ling Xiao licked his lips and said with a sinister look in his eyes. Up to you. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Yi Jiming and the others wanted to kill him. Ling Xiao was already kind enough to spare their lives. As for how Ling Xiao would deal with them, Ling Xiao didn't know and didn't want to know. Now that the 12 sky skills have been completely gathered, I will need to go into seclusion for a few days to receive the inheritance. I will have to trouble you all to protect me. Ling Xiao looked at Ling Xiao, the old goat, Jin Sei, and Xue Wei. Don't worry. Go into seclusion. Leave everything to us. The old goat patted his chest and said. Everyone was looking forward to Ling Xiao obtaining the inheritance of the 12 sky skills. How strong would he be after mastering the 12 sky skills? I hope that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain is right. After refining the 12 sky skills, I will be able to completely control the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. His body shone brightly as he slowly disappeared into the void. Once again, he entered the chrono compass and went into seclusion to cultivate. After being in the divine realm for so many years, Ling Xiao had finally obtained all the 12 sky skills. He could faintly feel that the fusion of the 12 sky skills would bring about an incomparably miraculous change. Chapter 2294. In the depths of the chaos battlefield, there was an ordinary-looking mountain. However, the interior of the mountain was hollowed out and a powerful spatial formation was set up to form a small world. At this moment, an intense battle was taking place in the small world in the middle of the mountain. Rumble. A ferocious fist mark rose up like the sun, emitting an endless amount of scorching light as it smashed the sword light that filled the sky into dust. Zhao Ritian and Dugu Qiubai stood in the air, their battle intent rising. Both of their auras exploded to the extreme as they engaged in an intense battle. Among the spectators, there were Pangu Heavenly Dipper, Zhou Panlong, Jiang Luer, and some other geniuses from other worlds. At this moment, everyone was watching the battle between Zhao Ritian and Dugu Qiubai with mixed emotions. I didn't expect Zhao Ritian to be so strong. I don't think Brother Dugu will be able to defeat him. Pangu Heavenly Dipper said with a sigh. I didn't expect that after being sealed for so long, such a genius would appear in the human race. I admit defeat. Zhou Panlong said with a wry smile. Both Pangu Celestial Dipper and Zhou Panlong had been defeated by Zhao Ritian. Even though they were proud and arrogant, and one was the son of great Emperor Pangu and the other was an ancient genius, they were still convinced that they had lost to Zhao Ritian. The Son of Heaven launched a massacre in the chaos battlefield. All the geniuses he encountered died in his hands and had their power of fate snatched away. Tianzi's luck was at its peak. The luck above his head had turned purple, indicating that his luck had reached its peak. The final battle of the chaos battlefield had arrived. Only the possessor of purple luck was qualified to participate in the final battle. Zhao Ritian, Pangu Heavenly Dipper, Zhou Panlong, Jiang Luer, and Dugu Qiubai had encountered each other by chance. However, their luck was mostly silver. Only Zhao Ritian's luck was golden, but it was still far from purple. Therefore, they finally made a decision to spar with each other and give their luck to the strongest person. That way, they wouldn't hurt each other. However, they did not expect Zhao Ritian to be so strong. After a fierce battle, Pangu Heavenly Dipper and Zhou Panlong were defeated by Zhao Ritian. Meanwhile, the battle between Dugu Qiubai and Zhao Ritian had been going on for more than 1,000 rounds. Seeing that the battle was about to end, the crowd stared intently at the two of them, waiting to see who would emerge victorious. Dao Brother Jiang, who do you think will win this battle? Pangu Tiangang glanced at Jiang Luer and asked. Zhao Ritian. Jiang Luer smiled indifferently and spat out these 3 words without the slightest hesitation. Are you sure? Then who would win between you and Zhao Ritian? Why don't you go up and fight? Zhou Panlong asked curiously. Jiang Luer was known as a peerless sky pride from 90 million years ago. He had the potential to become an emperor. Although Zhou Panlong was from a much earlier era than Jiang Luer, he could vaguely feel that Jiang Luer was unfathomable and perhaps even stronger than him. However, Jiang Luer had already made it clear that he wouldn't compete for the chosen child. He would only give his luck to the final victor. Just wait and see. I'm afraid the result of this battle will be revealed very soon. I never had any thoughts about the chosen child. The reason I'm here is to find someone. Jiang Luer said indifferently. Find someone? Zhou Panlong was even more curious now. Boom. However, at this moment, a terrifying aura exploded in the void, attracting Zhou Panlong's attention. His gaze instantly fell on Zhao Ritian and Dugu Qiubai. Zhao Ritian, you're indeed very strong. Actually, I've already lost if I can't defeat you after more than 1,000 rounds. However, I still have one last sword move that I haven't fully mastered. Do you want to give it a try? Dugu Qiubai said calmly as he looked at Zhao Ritian. He was a pure sword cultivator, and a sword cultivator had a sharp edge. Sword cultivators pressed forward with indomitable will, and they had no regrets. Either the enemy died, or they died. Therefore, battles between sword cultivators were often extremely tragic, and the outcome would be decided within a few moves. However, during his battle with Zhao Ritian, Dugu Qiubai realized that Zhao Ritian seemed to have the immortal body and the leakless true body. He couldn't find any flaws in Zhao Ritian's sword skills. From this point of view, he had already lost. However, Dugu Qiubai was excited to finally meet a strong opponent. Therefore, he decided to use that sword move. Senior Dugu still has an ultimate move? Of course, I'll teach you a thing or two. Although I, Zhao Ritian, am a genius, Senior Dugu isn't bad either. I'd really like to see if Senior Dugu is truly undefeatable. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. He was wearing a golden armor. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His body was extremely tall and slender. His entire body was exuding an extremely powerful aura. Flames surrounded his body, making him look like a peerless god of war. His aura was sharp, domineering, and arrogant. Zhao Ritian had learned a lot from the battle with Pan Gu's Celestial Dipper and Zhou Panlong. Especially the battle with Dugu Qiubai, Zhao Ritian was extremely focused. Alright. This sword of mine is called, Myriad Tribulations, Life and Death Become Nothing. I haven't fully comprehended it, and it's just an incomplete move. Dugu Qiubai said slowly. Wang. An ordinary longsword appeared in his palm. The blade was straight and the sword chi was sharp. It was like the autumn water that reflected all living beings in the world, including Dugu Qiubai and Zhao Ritian's faces. In the next moment, Dugu Qiubai made his move. The long sword was thrusting towards Zhao Ritian lightly. The tip of the sword was trembling slightly as streaks of dazzling sword light rose into the air, forming an intricate and grotesque world in the void. It was as if billions of worlds were intertwined. There was birth and destruction, chaos and nothingness, life and death, reality and illusion. It was as if one would be completely immersed in it with just a glance. Zhao Ritian's expression was a little confused. It was as if he was trapped in an endless illusion. He could only watch the sword coming towards his forehead without any thought of blocking it. The tip of the sword was right in front of Zhao Ritian. The tip of the sword pierced through Zhao Ritian's forehead. There was a trace of blood radiance on the tip of the sword. Rumble. However, at that moment, a blazing divine light rose from Zhao Ritian's sea of consciousness. The blood in his body boiled and flowed with boundless light that could split heaven and earth. Flames that could destroy heaven and earth burned fiercely, causing him to erupt with a terrifying aura that did not belong to this world. The forbidden power had erupted. Zhao Ritian suddenly reached out his hand and grabbed the long sword. A terrifying energy fluctuation erupted from his arm. With a crisp sound, the long sword was broken by Zhao Ritian. Countless mysterious and illusory worlds shattered like glass. A dazzling rain of light fell. In the end, only Dugu Qiubai and Zhao Ritian's figures were left. You've won. Chapter 2295. The Myriad Tribulations, Life and Death Void was a sword technique that Dugu Qiubai had comprehended based on the Destruction Dao and Life Dao. It was not complete and was still in the exploration stage. It could only be considered an incomplete sword technique. The power of this incomplete sword technique was earth-shattering. The horrifying power from earlier could almost tear everything apart and destroy all living beings. However, it was still shattered by Zhao Ritian's forbidden power in the end. Dugu Qiubai's expression was calm as he admitted defeat. Senior Dugu, if we were to fight, I'm definitely no match for you. Moreover, I can feel that your sword technique is incomplete. If it were complete, it would definitely be able to unleash 10 times or even 100 times more power. Zhao Ritian sighed emotionally as he spoke. The Myriad Tribulations, Life and Death Void was extremely powerful. If Zhao Ritian did not activate the forbidden power in the end, it would be extremely difficult to break through the Myriad Tribulations, Life and Death Void. Zhao Ritian won by luck and with great difficulty. I'm looking forward to that day too. Dugu Qiubai said with a smile. He could feel that when he fully comprehended the Myriad Tribulations, Life and Death Void, it would be the time for him to become a sage. He was also looking forward to the power of this sword technique. Are you guys convinced? If you're not, feel free to challenge me. Zhao Ritian's gaze fell upon the crowd below and said with a proud smile. We're convinced. Lord Zhao Ritian, we're willing to give our providence to you. Everyone's eyes were filled with respect as they quickly said. Most of them had fled to this place to hide after hearing about Tianzi's massacre. Now that Zhao Ritian was willing to protect their lives, they were naturally willing to hand over their providence. Very well. You've made the right choice. Zhao Ritian said with a faint smile. Buzz. The golden fate above Zhao Ritian's head looked like a dazzling sun with a dazzling radiance. At this moment, everyone gave up on the power of fate as they were devoured by the golden fate above Zhao Ritian's head. Auspicious qi rose above Zhao Ritian's head. The providence rose and intertwined with each other, containing an incomparably majestic and ancient energy fluctuation. Zhao Ritian, we've given our providence to you as well. Zhou Panlong, Pangu Tiangang, and Dugu Qiubai all gave up their power of fortune and gave it to Zhao Ritian. Since Zhao Ritian had used his own strength to win the power of providence, they naturally had no objections. Even the power of providence above Jiang Luer's head was given to Zhao Ritian. Rumble. Providence rose above Zhao Ritian's head. After absorbing and refining so much providence, the golden providence began to turn purple, emitting a peaceful and majestic aura. The purple fate was like a purple sun. It was dazzling and a purple rainbow shot up into the sky. The entire chaotic battlefield began to shake. The final battle begins. At the same time, an ancient and mysterious voice resounded through the entire primal chaos battlefield, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. Whoosh! Zhao Ritian was shrouded by the purple auspicious qi. He instantly disappeared from the void and appeared in an unknown and mysterious area. This was the final battle of the chaos battlefield. Buzz! Just as Zhao Ritian appeared in the final battlefield, a few other powerful figures had purple auspicious qi above their heads. The providence around them rose like burning flames, causing them to be shrouded in a mysterious aura. Tianzi was dressed in golden chainmail. His white cape fluttered in the wind. His figure was slender and strong. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His face was incomparably handsome. His eyes were filled with indifference. He had an aura of looking down on the world. His providence was the strongest. Purple divine light rose, causing his entire body to be shrouded in purple auspicious qi. Every move he made caused the surrounding void to shake violently. The final battle, huh? Only I am worthy of being the chosen one. An indifferent voice sounded. A mysterious young figure spoke. That figure was a young man. He was slender and handsome. He had a pair of wings on his back and fangs in his mouth. The fangs shone with golden light as if they were made of pure gold. His eyes were filled with arrogance and dominance. He stood in the void, exuding an immortal aura around him. It was ancient and terrifying. If Ling Xiao was here, he would definitely recognize that this young man with fangs was the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince that he had met before. I, the Shaman King, will be the final victor in the final battle. With a muffled sound, a dazzling purple divine light emerged. A muscular man wearing beast skin and holding a stone club walked out. He looked very wild and wild. His black hair was messy and his eyes were filled with an aggressive light. His aura was powerful to the extreme. The Shaman King was the strongest among the younger generation of the Sorcerer tribe. The Sorcerer tribe was not weaker than the human tribe and the demon tribe. Although they usually kept a low profile, the Sorcerer tribe was not to be underestimated. No one was surprised that the Shaman King could reach this stage. Just as Zhao Ritian discovered Tianzi, the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince, and the Shaman King, the three of them also discovered Zhao Ritian. It's you. Where is Long Outian? When Tianzi saw Zhao Ritian, his body trembled slightly. His eyes instantly became incomparably sharp. They swept past Zhao Ritian's body like a blade, as if he wanted to see through him. I didn't expect that the son of the Heavenly Emperor would engage in the business of killing and robbing. Is this the temperament of the son of the Heavenly Emperor? Even if Shrouding Tian is not here today, you will die without a doubt. Zhao Ritian smiled proudly, his eyes revealing an incomparably powerful fighting spirit. What Long Outian? I heard that Long Outian's real name is Ling Xiao. He is the owner of the wordless heavenly book. If he knows what's good for him, he will obediently hand over the wordless heavenly book. Otherwise, you will not be able to withstand my wrath. The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince said as he stared at Zhao Ritian, revealing his sharp fangs. His eyes were filled with a cruel and bloodthirsty light. Has the wordless heavenly book finally appeared? I am very interested in this guy called Ling Xiao. The Shaman King's eyes also revealed a look of interest. Just as the mysterious figure had said, he had not only told the Wuji saint about Ling Xiao's possession of the wordless heavenly book, but he had also told many supreme talents of the entire chaotic battlefield. Although Tianzi, the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince, and the Shaman King were interested in the Chosen One, they were more interested in Ling Xiao's wordless heavenly book. If they could obtain the complete wordless heavenly book, they would be even more precious than the Chosen One. How dare the three of you covet the wordless heavenly book? You really don't know what's good for you. Come, let your grandpa Zhao Ritian teach you how to behave. Chapter 2296. What did you say? The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince stared at Zhao Ritian with a bloody light flashing in his eyes. There seemed to be a sea of blood surging in his eyes. There were countless divine demon corpses in his eyes, exuding an insufferably murderous aura. Zhao Ritian felt as if he was being stared at by an Archean demon. The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince was extremely mysterious. He was the Supreme Emperor Prince who had appeared from the sky-burying coffin. No one knew his origin, but his strength was extremely terrifying. He was extremely domineering and could tear apart supreme talents. Zhao Ritian's words were a great provocation to the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince. Human brat, aren't you afraid of biting off more than you can chew? Even the Emperor doesn't dare to say that he can take on the three of us alone. Are you courting death? The Shaman Spirit King also sneered. Terrifying chi and blood rose from his body, containing a supreme power that could crush the sky. Brothers, although this brat is from the human race, he is arrogant and unruly. If you want to teach him a lesson, why do you have to do it yourself? Why don't I do it myself and let you deal with him? The Emperor said indifferently. There was a strange look in his eyes as he stared at Zhao Ritian. It was as if he was searching for something, which made Zhao Ritian feel uncomfortable. Since the Emperor wants to clean up the sect, we have no objections. The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince and the Shaman King looked at each other and sneered. There was a hint of sarcasm in their voices, and even a hint of gloating. After all, they could see that the Emperor and Zhao Ritian were both from the human race. However, now that the human race had an internal strife, it was exactly what they wanted. Moreover, through the battle between Zhao Ritian and the Emperor, they might be able to see the Emperor's strength. After all, when it came to the final battle, they were not willing to act rashly. They wanted to know more about each other first. Brothers, why don't you leave this brat's life to me? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out in the void. Rumble. Chaotic mist rose, and purple chi filled the air. It was as if a sun had risen in the distance, exuding an ancient, overbearing, and insufferably arrogant aura. A young man in white, shrouded in purple chi, slowly walked over. His eyes seemed to contain a dark vortex that could devour everything. His aura was incomparably mysterious, with a kind of immortal fluctuation. His life essence was extremely exuberant, and every movement of his contained unfathomable heavenly might. Undying Prince. The Son of Heaven, the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince, and the Shaman Spirit King narrowed their eyes. It was the undying Prince of the Devil World. The power of providence above his head was extremely powerful. It was like a purple sun that was vigorous and surging. It was burning fiercely, adding a mysterious aura to him. Undying Prince, do you have a grudge against him? The Shaman King said indifferently. Everyone was very vigilant against each other. It was impossible for them to completely trust each other. After all, they had come to this final battle for the position of the Chosen One. Everyone was an opponent and an enemy. I have no enmity with him. But I do have a grudge against Ling Xiao. He killed the Blood Prison Emperor Prince of the Devil Race, and killed the genius of the Devil Race. Zhao Ritian is a good friend of Ling Xiao, so he should pay for it with his life. The Undying Prince said with a cold smile. His eyes were filled with blazing killing intent as he stared at Zhao Ritian. It was as if there were millions of sharp blade lights in his eyes, wanting to cut Zhao Ritian into pieces. Kid, it seems like no one can save you today. The Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince said coldly. He did not know why, but he felt an extremely disgusting aura from Zhao Ritian. It was as if he hated Zhao Ritian instinctively. Although he did not know why, the Heaven Corpse Emperor Prince knew that he could not let Zhao Ritian live. If it was an ordinary person, their expression would have changed drastically and they would have been nervous. However, Zhao Ritian's expression did not change. He was full of arrogance. Undying Prince, just because you can't defeat Ling Xiao, you think that I, Zhao Ritian, am easy to bully? Come on, if I don't beat you up so badly that even your mother won't recognize you, I, Zhao Ritian, will write my name backwards. Zhao Ritian said with disdain. You're courting death. After I kill you, I'll send Ling Xiao to meet you. The Undying Prince's eyes flashed fiercely as he exuded an extremely terrifying battle intent. Brother Undying, no matter what, Zhao Ritian is still a member of the human race. How about I clean him up? Tianzi suddenly stepped forward and blocked the Undying Prince's path with a slight smile. Rumble. A terrifying aura surged from his body as chaotic mist swirled around him. Powerful energy fluctuations rumbled like thunder. He wanted to deal with Zhao Ritian personally. Even the Undying Prince's eyes flashed. If that's the case, I'll leave it to you. The Undying Prince hesitated for a moment before nodding his head. Thank you. Tianzi smiled and walked towards Zhao Ritian. Rumble. 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 With every step he took, the heavens and earth seemed to tremble. There was a strange rhythm as chaotic mist swirled around him, giving him an invincible aura. Tianzi's gaze was sharp, indifferent, and majestic as it fell on Zhao Ritian. It was as if he had confirmed his guess and finally decided to take Zhao Ritian down personally. Zhao Ritian, are you going to surrender or are you going to wait for me to take you down? Tianzi said calmly, his gaze incomparably deep. Take me down. How shameless. You're the son of the Emperor of Heaven. Although I don't know why, I really don't like you. How can a despicable and hypocritical person like you be the son of the Emperor of Heaven? If that's the case, then the Emperor of Heaven must be blind. Zhao Ritian said with a cold smile. Ritian, don't underestimate him. You must win this battle. Second uncle's voice suddenly rang in Zhao Ritian's heart. I must win. Second uncle, do you think that I'm no match for him? You're underestimating me too much. Today, I'm going to defeat him completely. Zhao Ritian said in an unconvinced manner. I'm not joking with you. You must win. If you lose, you might die. Second uncle's voice was extremely serious. Second uncle, don't worry. Watch me kill this despicable person today. Zhao Ritian said with a cold smile. Rumble. The aura around him rose. As soon as he finished speaking, his aura also rose to the maximum. Then, he leaped into the air, emitting an endless blazing light as he punched towards Tianzi. Chapter 2297. Sky-Burning Emperor Fist. This was the Supreme Emperor technique in the Emperor Yen scripture. It possessed the supreme power to burn the heavens and destroy the earth. Zhao Ritian had the Sun Saint physique. After receiving the inheritance of the Emperor Yen, he quickly comprehended the supreme power of the Sky-Burning Emperor Fist. When he attacked, it contained the power of extreme yang. His body was integrated with the great Tao of the sun. Every movement of his contained the vast great Tao law. The power was incomparably terrifying. The flame around him was the Emperor Fire of the Sun. Although its power was only 1/10,000th of the real Emperor Fire, it was enough to make Zhao Ritian more powerful. Kill! Tianzi's eyes flashed. The chaotic light around him rose. A peerless fist intent rose. The Heavenly Emperor Fist exploded. His comprehension of the Heavenly Emperor Fist had reached the pinnacle. When he used the Heavenly Emperor Fist, the fist shadows swept across the heavens and earth. It was fierce and domineering, as if it could suppress the gods and demons in the heavens and destroy all enemies. Rumble. The collision between the sky-burning Emperor Fist and the heavenly Emperor Fist exploded in an instant. Zhao Ritian and Tianzi were both in the heavenly realm. They both had the inheritance of the Supreme Emperor and the protection of the heavenly Tao. Their attacks were as fast as lightning. When the terrifying fist shadows collided, it instantly triggered a divine light fluctuation. It shattered the endless chaotic mist and caused the heavens and earth to tremble violently. Around the crowd, there were huge chains. They looked bronze in color and had mottled markings. They were like divine chains of order, sealing off the surroundings. This was the mysterious heaven's chosen battlefield in the chaos battlefield. Only the final victor could become the heaven's chosen child. Although Zhao Ritian and Tianzi were extremely powerful, they could not damage the heaven's chosen battlefield at all. The sturdiness of the heaven's chosen battlefield was beyond everyone's expectations. Rumble. Zhao Ritian and Tianzi's fist shadows collided. The terrifying fluctuation caused the two of them to fly back. However, their speed was extremely fast. They were like lightning, moving between the heavens and earth. Their attacks were incomparably fierce. Every move was aimed at each other's vital points. The sky-burning Emperor Fist and the heavenly Emperor Fist exploded to the extreme. The terrifying fluctuation caused the surrounding spectators to look solemn. They did not expect Tianzi and Zhao Ritian's attacks to be so fierce. Rumble. Flames soared into the sky, forming a blazing sea of fire in the void. There were fire phoenixes, three-legged golden crows, fire cheilants, fire dragons, and countless other primordial beasts rushing out. They looked very lifelike and emitted a monstrous ferocious aura as they pounced towards Tianzi. A sharp light flashed in Tianzi's eyes. His heavenly sovereign's fist soared into the sky, resembling a resplendent pillar that pierced through the 9 heavens. In an instant, the sea of flames exploded. The fist imprint was like a mountain that crushed all the ancient beasts. Zhao Ritian, you are no match for me. Are you still going to put up a resistance? The Son of Heaven's voice boomed like thunder, emitting waves of majesty. It was as if his voice had pierced into Zhao Ritian's primordial spirit. How would you know if you don't try? Boasting shamelessly, today I will defeat you, the so-called son of the celestial emperor. The battle intent in Zhao Ritian's eyes rose as the flames around him burned even more fiercely. Whoosh! In his palm, blazing divine light flashed. In an instant, the endless flames condensed into an ancient flaming sword. The runes on the sword were intertwined and it looked extremely sharp, as if it could cut through everything. Slash! Zhao Ritian shouted. In an instant, the ancient flaming sword swept across the void and expanded by tens of thousands of times. It was as if it had split the heavens and the earth. The sword radiance was unparalleled and locked onto Tianzi from all directions. Heavenly fire-glazed sword. It was one of the supreme sword techniques in the Emperor Yen scripture. This sword was extremely terrifying and fast. Before Tianzi could react, it had already appeared above his head. Rumble. Sparks burst forth as blazing divine light intertwined. An ancient sword appeared in Tianzi's palm as well, blocking Zhao Ritian's heavenly fire-glazed sword. Endless sword chi rose, intertwined and eventually annihilated. The heavenly fire-glazed sword of the Emperor Yen? That's all there is to it. Have a taste of the power of the Emperor's sword. The celestial emperor sneered. Rumble. His sword soared into the sky and repelled Zhao Ritian. In an instant, he soared into the sky and stood above the 9 heavens. Endless chaotic light rose and sword chi circled around him. Mysterious figures appeared around him, as if they were the ancestors of the human race. They were fighting against the experts of the various worlds, leading the human race forward through hardships and fighting for a bright and beautiful future for the human race. Every sword chi seemed to contain the fighting spirit of a human race ancestor. Their battle intent rose and their aura was extremely terrifying. The sky was filled with densely packed sword chi. There were at least billions of them. The incomparably sharp aura caused Zhao Ritian and the others to change their expressions. Kill! Tianzi bellowed. The sword qi that filled the sky rose and fell towards Zhao Ritian. It was like a mighty torrent, drowning Zhao Ritian in an instant. Each strand of sword energy was an endless battle spirit. This sword was the sword of destiny of the human race, the peerless sword that the mortal emperor used to dominate the human race. It contained the will of all the human powerhouses from the ancient times to the present, and it was imbued with a supreme power. It was terrifying to the extreme. The Emperor's Sword. This is one of the 3 peerless emperor techniques of the Celestial Emperor. It is also rumored to be the most mysterious emperor technique. When cultivated to the extreme, one can even summon the Emperor's true body, which is the Celestial Emperor's true body. It is blessed with the power of will of the experts of the human race. It seems like Zhao Ritian is doomed. The shaman's spiritual king said slowly with a hint of seriousness in his eyes. Facing the Emperor's sword, he also felt extremely threatened, especially by the billions of sword qi of the Emperor's sword. He felt that even he would not be able to resolve it. Is this the legendary Emperor's sword? Its power is not too bad. The Heavenly Corpse Emperor snorted coldly. On the other hand, the Undying Prince stared at Tianzi's attack with a strange look in his eyes. It was like fear, greed, and passion. Rumble. The sword qi that filled the sky contained the power to destroy everything, and it completely drowned Zhao Ritian. Everyone thought that in the face of such a terrifying power, even if Zhao Ritian could withstand it, he would be severely injured. Boom! However, at this moment, the endless sword qi rumbled and suddenly exploded. It was like a huge wave in the sea that rushed to the sky. The sword light rose unparalleled, containing the endless power of flames. Zhao Ritian held the heavenly fire glass sword in his hand. The flames around his body flowed like glass, and it contained endless runes, giving him an immortal and indestructible aura. The Emperor's sword left numerous wounds on Zhao Ritian's body, but they quickly disappeared. Zhao Ritian's body was flawless, and he looked extremely mysterious. He directly rushed out of the endless sword qi of the Emperor's sword. What? Chapter 2298. The Emperor's sword unleashed boundless sword qi. Every sword qi contained the battle spirit of the human tribe's ancestors and was imbued with a vast amount of power of will. Even a saint would die under the impact of hundreds of millions of sword qi. Zhao Ritian's body was originally covered in wounds. Those wounds went deep into his bones and almost sliced him into pieces. However, there was a glazed flame around him, exuding an immortal aura. It destroyed the Renhuang sword qi and turned it into a majestic life essence that fused into Zhao Ritian's body. It brought Zhao Ritian out with it. Immortal glass body. I didn't expect you to have mastered the Flame Emperor's immortal glass body. Tianzi's eyes flashed as he said coldly. Tianzi, I've seen the Heavenly Emperor's fist and the Emperor's sword. What about the Heavenly Emperor's seal? I'd like to see if your Heavenly Emperor's seal or my immortal glass body is stronger. Zhao Ritian stared at Tianzi and said indifferently. The glassy flame around him made him look immortal and majestic. He was like an emperor of flames that suppressed all directions. Rumble. His palm was as clear as jade and emitted a glassy light. In an instant, a glassy palm print came crashing down on Tianzi. The Emperor's fire spread as if it could burn everything. It erupted with an extremely terrifying Emperor's aura. Do you want to see the Heavenly Emperor's seal? As you wish. Tianzi's eyes were extremely cold. A terrifying aura rose around him and the runes in his palm shone brightly. In an instant, an ancient seal rose into the sky and emitted boundless light, illuminating the world. The ancient seal had the souls of the heavens engraved at the bottom and the chaotic demons engraved at the top. It was surrounded by hundreds of millions of stars, recording the changes of civilization and the vicissitudes of life. It contained an eternal and mysterious energy fluctuation. This was the authority of the Heavenly Emperor. It represented the Heavenly Emperor's ability to suppress the heavens and control the life and death of all beings. It was a supreme power that was above the heavenly way. It could almost ignore the power of time and space and become the only eternity in the heavens. Tianzi used the Heavenly Emperor's seal. It was as if he had turned into the heavens and earth. The huge ancient seal covered the sky and came crashing down on Zhao Ritian. Clang! Sparks flew in all directions as the Celestial Emperor seal's aura surged to the sky. In an instant, it collided with the azure palm print, shattering the azure palm print into pieces. Boundless Emperor fire surged, intending to burn the Heavenly Emperor seal into ashes. However, the Heavenly Emperor seal shone with boundless light and was impervious to all attacks. It blocked the raging Emperor fire and continued to press down on Zhao Ritian. Open! Glazed flames rose around Zhao Ritian's body, surrounded by a vast law of fire. He raised his arms to the sky, and an unparalleled force burst forth and blasted toward the Heavenly Emperor seal. Crack! The flames were extinguished with a loud bang. Streaks of flames were like dragons accompanied by blazing lightning, releasing boundless divine light. The surrounding heaven and earth shook violently at the same time. Zhao Ritian's arms were trembling. The glazed flame on his body had reached its peak in an instant. It was as if it had reached its limit. One could only imagine how much pressure he was under. But in the end, he managed to block the suppression of the Celestial Emperor's seal. Divine power surged out from his body and sent the Celestial Emperor's seal flying. Kill! Zhao Ritian controlled the glazed flame that filled the sky and unleashed the power of the immortal glazed body. He clenched his fist and performed the Burning Sky Emperor fist with one hand and the Heavenly Fire glazed sword with the other. At the same time, he performed the 3 Supreme Emperor techniques of the Emperor Yen scripture and charged toward Tianzi. Tianzi was also enraged by Zhao Ritian. Boundless chaotic light rose around his body. The Heavenly Emperor's fist swept in all directions, the human sovereign's sword suppressed the myriad of worlds, and the Celestial Emperor's seal controlled life and death. The 3 Supreme Emperor techniques also charged toward Zhao Ritian. Rumble! Blazing divine light bloomed and spewed out in all directions. The chaotic mist exploded one after another, surging with incomparably terrifying energy fluctuations. It was like a volcanic eruption, but also like the creation of heaven and earth. The collision of supreme power almost tore this ancient battlefield apart. Not only did Zhao Ritian obtain the inheritance of the Emperor Yen, but he also cultivated the Emperor Yen scripture to such a level. It's unbelievable that he forced Tianzi to such a state. The shaman spiritual king exclaimed and lamented. The Emperor Yen was the ruler of the ancient fire world. He was many eras before the Heavenly Emperor, but his strength was earth-shattering. He was one of the few ancient great emperors who could leave his name in this era. His inheritance is naturally extraordinary. This Tianzi's strength is only so-so. He still hasn't mastered the 3 Supreme Emperor techniques of the Heavenly Emperor. The Heavenly Corpse Emperor Prince said coldly and arrogantly, his eyes filled with bloody light. He had awakened in the sky-burying coffin and his background was shocking. He was probably the son of one of the great emperors in the ancient times. Although he was reborn with the help of Hua Xiang's body, his strength was earth-shattering and incomparably terrifying. It gave him the combat strength to look down on his peers. Naturally, he did not even take Zhao Ritian and Tianzi seriously. It seems like Tianzi may not be able to take down Zhao Ritian. Why don't we lend him a hand? The Undying Prince said flatly, but there was a trace of intense killing intent in his eyes. His gaze stopped on Zhao Ritian and Tianzi, and a murderous light flashed in his eyes. The demon tribe and the human tribe were mortal enemies. If he wanted to seize the heaven's chosen son, both Zhao Ritian and Tianzi would be the greatest enemies of the Undying Prince. He was looking for an opportunity to eliminate Zhao Ritian and Tianzi when they were both injured. He said this to remind the shaman spiritual king and the Heavenly Corpse Emperor Prince. After all, it was good for them to have one less threat. Sure enough, after hearing the Undying Prince's words, the shaman spiritual king and the Heavenly Corpse Emperor Prince's eyes flickered. Obviously, they each had their own ulterior motives. Rumble. The battle between Zhao Ritian and Tianzi became more and more intense. It stirred up the chaos and broke the void. The terrifying Great Tao laws intertwined as if they could annihilate everything. However, the two seemed to be evenly matched, and neither could do anything to the other. Kill. The blood in Zhao Ritian's body began to boil. There was a mysterious light flashing in his eyes. His entire body was filled with battle intent, and he even seemed a little crazy. A trace of terrifying energy fluctuation that seemed to be able to annihilate everything, and it caused the souls of all living beings in the heavens to tremble. The energy that could annihilate countless chaotic divine demons spread out from his body. The terrifying energy exploded, and it caused Zhao Ritian's strength to skyrocket. His strength instantly increased by a few times, and each of his moves contained unfathomable heavenly might. Rumble. Tianzi was sent flying by Zhao Ritian's punch. The burning sky emperor fist was filled with flames, as if it wanted to burn Tianzi into ashes. Tianzi's body trembled, and his face turned pale. However, his eyes were unprecedentedly bright. Forbidden energy. It's really you. Chapter 2299. Once again, Zhao Ritian's body erupted with the forbidden energy. The forbidden energy seemed to originate from the deepest part of his body, from his life providence and soul. It was an innate energy that contained supreme power. It would only erupt when Zhao Ritian was in danger or when he was completely enraged. The forbidden energy could increase Zhao Ritian's strength and combat strength greatly. It could even allow him to challenge and kill stronger enemies. The energy seemed to be bestowed by the heavenly axiom. That was why people with such energy were called the forbidden physique. However, it was difficult for ordinary people to explain how the forbidden physique came about. When Tianzi saw the forbidden energy erupting from Zhao Ritian's body, it was as if a guess in his heart had been verified. His body began to tremble with excitement. Even when he was knocked back by Zhao Ritian's punch and suffered some injuries, he did not feel it at all. The bloodline of the heavenly emperor. Summon the true body of heaven and earth. Erupt. The son of heaven said softly. Rumble. Thunder rumbled around him as chaotic lightning filled the air. An ancient and terrifying aura rose. The blood in his body seemed to have awakened with some ancient power, and it began to surge like a great river. Vast blood chi soared into the sky, and in an instant, it condensed into an incomparably mysterious figure behind him. It was a figure standing at the peak of chaos. He stood with his hands behind his back and looked down at the galaxy. Although his face was a little blurry, his eyes were incomparably wise, bright, and deep. They contained a compassion that bemoaned the state of the universe and pitied the fate of mankind. There was also a majestic and domineering aura that could sweep across the universe and suppress the heavens. That figure contained an invincible destiny. The vast power of heaven and earth poured into the son of heaven's body, causing his aura to skyrocket. The moment they saw the figure, whether it was the shaman spiritual king, the heaven corpse emperor prince, or the undying emperor prince, they could not help but tremble. Their eyes were filled with respect. This is the heavenly emperor's true body. As expected of the heavenly emperor's son, he can summon the heavenly emperor's true body. Only the heavenly emperor can imprint the true body in the heavenly axiom. The shaman spiritual king trembled. His eyes were filled with shock, fear, and envy. The heavenly emperor's true body. So, this is his most powerful trump card. The undying emperor prince muttered to himself. The murderous intent in his eyes burned even brighter. This is the heavenly emperor of the human clan. He has reached such a realm. The heavenly corpse imperial prince was still arrogant and disdainful, but after seeing the heavenly emperor's true body, he couldn't help but tremble in disbelief. He suddenly realized that this human celestial emperor's cultivation had actually reached the legendary forbidden realm. He was even more powerful than his celestial emperor. But how was this possible? After so many times of the heavenly emperor's true body. Rumble. Under the support of the heavenly monarch true body, the heavenly monarch's aura exuded from his body. Every movement of his contained an unfathomable heavenly aura. The great Tao laws revolved around him, and chaotic light rose, making him look majestic, ancient, and mysterious. This. Zhao Ritian trembled. The moment he saw the heavenly emperor's true body, he was stunned. His expression became confused. He suddenly felt that the heavenly emperor's true body was both familiar and unfamiliar. It was as if he had seen it before. It was as if the figure was so warm that it made him feel a sense of attachment. The heavenly emperor's eyes were cold. He threw a punch at Zhao Ritian. The power of the heavenly emperor's fist was many times stronger than before. The terrifying fist imprint was filled with chaotic light and contained an unparalleled divine power. It was headed straight for Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian was in a daze. He did not put up any resistance and allowed the fist to land on his body. Crack. Although Zhao Ritian's immortal glass body was extremely sturdy, it suffered a devastating blow when it was hit by the heavenly emperor's fist. Runes started to shatter and cracks started to appear on his immortal glass body. He was sent flying backward. Pfft. Zhao Ritian trembled and spat out a mouthful of blood. Who are you? Who am I? Zhao Ritian was in a daze. He stared at the heavenly emperor's true body behind the heavenly emperor and shouted. He felt a dull pain in his heart. However, he did not know why. When he saw the heavenly emperor's true body and saw the heavenly emperor attacking him, he instinctively did not want to fight back. Instead, he was in a daze. It was as if there were countless scenes, fragments, and meetings flashing in his mind. Boom! Zhao Ritian's mind shook. His primordial spirit was trembling violently. Mysterious chains appeared around him. It was as if Zhao Ritian's primordial spirit was completely shackled. He had no way to break free from the shackles. Zhao Ritian, quickly fight back. If you don't fight back, you will die in the hands of the heavenly emperor before you can remember the past. Fight back, quickly fight back. The second uncle's anxious voice rang in Zhao Ritian's mind. The past? Second uncle, who am I? Zhao Ritian asked in his mind. I can't say. I can't say. This is your destiny. You have to remember it yourself. The Son of Heaven is also your destined enemy. You have to kill him personally. Remember, fight back. Don't stop. The second uncle's voice was like thunder as he urged anxiously. Fight back. Fight back. But why am I not willing to fight back? Zhao Ritian's body trembled. He raised his arm. However, when he saw the heavenly emperor's true body, he subconsciously put it down. Zhao Ritian's eyes were in a daze. They even turned blood red. 2 streams of blood tears flowed down slowly. However, he was still instinctively unwilling to fight back. Boom! At this moment, the heavenly emperor punched Zhao Ritian's chest again. Zhao Ritian's immortal glass body was completely shattered. The glass flames on his chest shattered. His ribs were broken and he was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Who am I? Who am I? Zhao Ritian roared into the sky. He was in a state of madness. His long hair began to dance wildly. Blood tears flowed from his eyes. His eyes were filled with confusion and sorrow. Rumble. Divine chains of order appeared out of thin air and wrapped around Zhao Ritian's body. It was as if they had always been wrapped around his body. They wrapped around his primordial spirit and his life chart. They sealed everything about him, preventing him from being reincarnated forever. Zhao Ritian's body was covered in blood light. His entire body exploded with an incomparably violent energy. However, he was unable to break free from the divine chains of order. You can go to hell now. The heavenly emperor's eyes were filled with murderous intent. The emperor's sword contained a monstrous sword chi as it slashed down on Zhao Ritian. At the same time, the heavenly emperor was so excited that he began to go crazy. As long as he killed Zhao Ritian and devoured the forbidden primordial spirit, he would be able to complete his cultivation. At that time, not to mention defeating all his peers and becoming the new heaven's chosen one, it wouldn't be difficult for him to achieve